someone named Mate from Friend Group, and then he decided not to teach it anymore for a while. So we've had someone else. Not that he's not amazing, but Mate is going to substitute on Monday, and his story, like the way that he did what he did to become a listing agent, is amazing. So I'm actually pretty excited for you guys to learn from him on Monday.
Monday.
Yes. Like, you're here right now. Morning, Tanya. So what was your biggest aha from Wednesday's Ignite?
Smart plans.
Smart plans? Like what? Tell me more.
Just like, the automated process, how much easier it makes you to keep nurturing and in touch with those relationships.
Okay.
Just helps you stay authentic with your clients, right? Because you can really enter anything, your birthday, anniversary. Allows you to get like those touches in with the clients. So I found that really helpful.
Okay.
The importance of not allowing discouragement from, let's just say, if you don't get like a listing, that not necessarily it's going to be that one, rather that person could give you like 2 or 3 referrals and you can move on from there, but to not allow that to like mind block you.
Yep. Yaritza?
I'm blank.
Okay.
I have too many tabs open.
I just wrote in the chat for you guys in Zoom world. Me. 1 minute. Okay, so who made the contacts? Who is doing their one thing? Anyone?
The contacts, I don't think I'm gonna be able to hit the 10 properties to visit this week.
Why?
I got trying to set up a few showings.
So do those count?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think I'm gonna hit 10 though.
Why don't you do it over the weekend?
We could do that, yes.
Okay.
Absolutely, that's the time, right?
You still have plenty of time. Yaritza had a great idea. She's gonna visit open houses. Should be no reason that you're not seeing 10 a week. Okay? You don't have to do you can do all in one day or you can do some per day. Okay. So your daily 10-4, did you guys get note cards so that you can start sending out notes?
Say it again,
Note cards you got
Dollar Tree.
no cards for.
to send the thinking of you or thank you for the conversation?
No, I haven't.
Huh?
I haven't.
Okay, definitely do that. So that you can start building more touches and be more thoughtful in the way that you run your business. Okay. So today's expectations is to find your business, prospect and lead generate using multiple methods, connect with potential clients, and obtain referrals. You guys all have laptops. We went over, oh, did you watch the videos that you had to watch? No?
No, for today.
Okay. Would you like for me to play it before your instructor comes so that you can tell her you watched it? Let me go back. Let me share my screen. Oh, Malak wrote 25 contacts, 11 in my database, showing 2 properties today. We'll be sending 3 note cards. Great. Keep it going. 10 properties in the week. Let me share my screen. Oh, and Tanya. Oh, okay, you're at work. No problem, Tanya. Okay.
Hi, I'm Jay Michael Manley, and I've been highly successful at converting online leads to closings. The keys to successful online lead generation are actually 3 things. 1, be found. 2, be connected. And 3, be involved. So when we're working to be found, the key is to be out as many places as possible. Spread your spider web as far as you can. Facebook AdWord campaigns, fan pages, Google AdWords, Twitter, YouTube, blog sites. The larger the spider web, the better chance you have of being found. The key to being connected is to really build online conversations. You want to build connection points around what you know about people so that you can actually start to be engaged with them. Once you're engaged with them, then at that point, you've got a 2-way conversation. Once you have a 2-way conversation, it really does at that point make it back to your natural sales ability. What being involved really entails is actually being there over and over and over again. Never giving up, never putting a lead into a trash or inactive. You always want to be there. You never know when someone is going to say, hey, I'm ready to purchase. Being timely is actually a really big part of being involved. When somebody registers on your website, here's what I want you to do. On your cell phone, I want you to save a script that says, hi, I'm Jay Michael Manley, and thank you for registering on XYZ website. I'm sorry I'm out showing property right now, but as soon as I get back to the office, I'll give you a call. Just copy it and paste it into your text messaging system and send them a text message. It actually takes about 18 seconds to make that happen. And now you've actually followed up on that lead as quickly as possible. This is the first step in building value in you, that you are a little different. 70% of real estate is done by referral. And a set it and forget it campaign is not going to capture or beat out that referral for the business. So you really have to be found, be connected, and be involved with all of the online leads that you're getting on your website. I'm Jay Michael Manley with Online Lead Generation. No pressure, no diamonds. Thanks for watching.
Thoughts? Okay, thoughts, questions, concerns? We'll play it again since you have none.
What you said about that message, just keep clients, I will say, interest or know that you're going to actually get to them.
Okay,
sometimes people want an answer right away, but, you know, that, let them know that, that we're working, that we're just not ignoring them.
Okay. So page 8. Who wants to say actually, let's all say the affirmation out loud on page 8. Do y'all see it? Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Opportunity comes easy to me.
Okay, stand up. Let's stand up. Because we're gonna be excited when Luz comes in.
Loosen up.
Okay, let's say it a little bit louder.
Opportunities come easy to me.
Robert.
I'm getting into the video.
Okay, you heard what they said.
Opportunity comes easy to me.
Opportunities come easily to me. Let's say another affirmation. What's one that you guys know? Do you guys do any affirmations?
The best is yet to come.
Okay, let's do that. The best is yet to come.
Best is yet to come.
Malak, Caesar, I would love to hear an affirmation from you guys. Guess not. Is that my loose? Yes, it is. Okay, cool. So you're actually gonna call. We could do 10 minutes of calling. Maybe post me on my social media. I don't know. Figure out a post. But we do need to make calls because that is what we do. We are here to learn and put into action. I would say, Malak, that I want you to do an affirmation out loud.
Is my audio working?
Now it is, yes.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm using my iPad. I'm not sure what happened. Affirmation.
Yes.
Today I will be able to get 20 contacts in while showing two properties and get at least 1 or 2 listing appointments.
So I will work hard to achieve my goals. You can say that.
Okay, so yes. I will work hard to achieve my goals.
Okay. I am working hard to achieve my goals. You can say that.
I am working hard to achieve my goals.
Thank you. Okay, so Luz is here. So she will take over. I do want you guys to make the calls. Luz,
Yeah.
how long do you make calls for? 10 minutes? Yep, 10 minutes. So she can prepare and you guys can do your one thing. And good luck. Thank you. Calls.
Good morning. I'm calling about the 1334 Northwest 133rd. It's just when I go into the MLS, I message you a minute ago. I don't see for scheduling a phone. Are you taking shows for today? No. Are you using Super by any chance? a lockbox. Oh. Okay, I will try again. Thank you. I don't. I'm trying to see if there's something for some reason it's not trying it like normally. I'm trying to make sure that I'm. For the short, I'm normally gonna click there.
So this,
Oh, yeah.
Because I can select the time. Then. It makes me put their information. You see how much of a fish this is? This is the second time today. Yeah, because my girlfriend sent me one from Zillow, and it's a total fish. It's a total fish because it's in the MLS, right? And all the numbers leads to a recording, and the recordings that to follow instructions. If you're an agent, follow the instructions in the MLS, right? Or if not, leave a message. If you're not to leave a message, but in the MLS, there's no instruction other than all numbers that leads to the same recording. So that's bullshit. And then there's no, you know what I mean? So I was like, how strange, you know? I noticed that. And then, no, this one is different also for, so yeah, let me show you the other one that, the one that my. Let me go to this. The one that she sent me. So, it's so funny. Look at this one. Where's the, so I can put the, change on the like in a different.
Lucy, yes, I'm trying to see a property, right? And so I asked her for the instructions to go see the black box, just like a more semi, right? But what is she?
It's usually like your name and your license number.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
¿Y a qué número tú estás llamando? ¿Al número que tú me di? No soy yo. Exacto. Ok, pues voy a chequearlo otra vez y lo voy a contestar. En el sistema, no, es que siempre hay cosas que salen, pueden haber de todo. Yo voy a darle seguimiento y entonces, ujú, está bien. Está bien, pero hacemos cualquier cosa, hacemos lo que yo estoy diciendo. Que yo les saco video, yo voy allá, y entonces, pues, si tú quieres, pues, entonces, ¿me entiendes? Se hace digitalmente. Exacto. Pues vamos a ver, déjame volver a darle search aquí y llamar, ¿está bien? Ok.
Okay, guys. Um, Sorry I was late. So my name is Luz. I am with the Blueprint Group. I put down my contact information. I'm always available. I usually try to come here all the time. I, try to be involved, and honestly, if to just establish connections with your other agents and stuff, because you never know when you're gonna need, their help, and it's always good to like come in person. So if you do have that available to you, you can everybody on Zoom hear me? I'm gonna forget about. Yes, no?
Yes, we can hear you.
Did you guys on Zoom make your calls? No. Yeah, okay. Does anybody want to share something that they talked? No, probably not. Okay, so in page 9, you guys have some scripts. I know that what do you guys, so as we're a small group, it's only like 6 of us right now. Let's try to do more of like a conversation rather than me going through, like I'll still follow this because I have to like touch some certain things, but rather than that, like let's just all have a conversation so that way I can know a little bit about how you guys are doing your business, things that I've done to like help me grow my business, and things that I've heard other agents that works for them. So what are you guys doing to find your business? Like what is your source of anything? Like how are you guys finding business? How are you guys prospecting now that you guys are licensed?
For me personally, I've noticed that FSBOs have been, they've been really more receptive.
Okay.
Just because, half the time, at least half the time, those properties aren't in the market for longer than I'm sure they're expecting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an easy way to convince them. You can just ask them, like, what are you exactly doing to, market your property? How's the traffic or getting offers? And then there's like so many great files. I can help put you in an MLS. I can help get sort of more feel like they're alleviated from that burden, you know, and can really just focus on their daily activities rather than having to worry about how I'm going to sell this home just to save a commission. So it's really tremendous value.
So that comes easy to you, like you making those cold calls, like that's something you're comfortable with.
I mean, yeah, it's something that probably like practice the most.
That's awesome.
Expired and stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. So when I started a lot with expireds. I never did FISBOs, but I started a lot, and it would hurt my stomach every time I would make a call. And I figured, I'm like, okay, well, it's not my niche. I see people that are like really successful. However, it like I've done it, and I would sit down in the office and I would just cold call. And I never really got anybody like super rude, but I have a problem with like rejection, which is something I have to get out of my head. And it's like a mindset thing because, you know, you can bring value to them and you can, you know, get offers from it. So I think it's important to just know your personality and what you're comfortable with. So a little background story about me. Before I became a full agent last November, I quit my job. I was a bartender. I did hospitality for like 17 years. And then I quit completely and I dedicated myself to real estate. But while I'm more of a person, like I need that human interaction. So for me, the phone is just like, I feel like they're trying to get me a phone. Like that's me, my person. And I think that's really important to know your niche and to know like what you're good at, your strengths and your weaknesses, because it can help you, like he said. So what I found that I feel very comfortable with is door knocking, only because I feel people are not so fast to like be rude to you or to you know, slam the door in your face. They're more open to having a conversation, in my opinion. So I've gotten, you know, a few I've gotten really comfortable with it, and you know, now I apply it to my business, and that's how I've been like, you know, growing my database and everything. But FISBOs is definitely something that I want to get back, because knowing those objections ahead of time, it's easier for you to be able to tackle them. So when I started expireds, I would read the scripts, but it sounded so scripted to me. So I would try to like, you know, fix it like to my personality. And I still have somebody I'm actually cultivating from expireds, but I never got anything out of it. But with the door knocking, I have gone on listing appointments. So I just found that to be easier for me, even though with the rain and everything, it's throwing me off. But knowing those objections ahead of time and like, you know, handling them and just get as many objections as you can. So that way you can target it, you know what to say, and then you can come and brainstorm, go to script practice so you guys can tackle the objections you guys are getting. What's your name? Victoria, nice to meet you. What are you doing?
So,
How long have you been in the business?
I started working last Monday, actually. I'm Christina's new admin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm really just working with her, like focusing on like the business and what we can
Okay,
do.
but you're licensed? No.
On my way to the
Oh, you are?
license.
Okay, good. Nice. Okay, so you're not prospecting right now, like, okay, gotcha. And what's your name?
My name is Jaritza.
Yaritza. How long have you been in the business?
Well, I was licensed sometime in February, March, right in that time.
Okay.
But actively, since Monday.
Okay.
Or since Tuesday, Monday was you know, so since Tuesday.
So you got licensed, but you haven't practiced it yet. Awesome.
Exactly.
Okay.
I was originally I thought that I could do part-time and I was in a different office, and then I moved to this office and decided to do it full-time.
Okay.
So as of for this week, I started doing full-time and coming to Ignite and make that decision.
Okay. And what have you been doing, like, to grow your business, to add more context to your database? Like, what are you targeting?
Well, I have taken the leads that I have been given.
Mm-hmm.
Also people that I know already was interested in a rental, so I'm working with them. I made like my ex-coworker a client.
Nice.
So I've been focusing on those leads that are for rental and trying to find them. I did my first showing. Did Ignite start on Monday or Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Tuesday. So this is a weird week. So on Tuesday I had my first showing. It didn't work out because they took an offer right before, so it didn't stay in the market for not even 2 days.
Oh yeah, they're flying.
And they had plenty of offers, so we were just a tad late, which is most likely going to happen quite a lot with this market right now with the rentals. So I'm trying to tap in properties before everybody else. You know, I have the approval from her, that I can go.
She's buying or renting?
Renting.
Okay.
That I can do like a video and, since I know what she wants, that way if work on the offer, you know, even though that she is not there, she already gave me that trust that I can kind of like guide her
Do the
through
video
it.
for her.
Yes, and try to tap ahead the offer. That way we can nail it. So if she's doing whatever with her family or at work,
Mhm.
she
doesn't miss out on that.
Yeah, she don't miss out because I explained her, this is going to keep happening. So we're wasting our time. And she wanted it in Pembroke Pines. So that's kind of like a little bit of a drive.
Yeah.
So I told her like, we really have to look into things that are like right now and be the first one, or we're not going to get it. There's too many people.
And
wanting-
what's her motivation?
For moving in that area?
Like, yeah, why does she need to move? Does she need to move?
Yeah, she been here in Miami back again. She moved from New York.
Okay.
So she's staying with some friends. She wants to recapture her kids, that her kids are with the dad
Okay.
in that area, and she's trying to be near the school.
Okay.
So that way she can.
Only because like whenever you are dealing with anybody, like rentals, or you want to know their motivation, because sometimes if they're like, yeah, I need to move, but I don't have to
No,
move, like,
she wants to be hopefully in a place before the kid is in school or right at that time. So she really wants to move as soon as possible. She has the money, the income, she
Everything.
has like, so I already have all her documents on hand as a for driver license,
That's
credit
good, yeah.
score is all 811.
Oh.
So she's good. So I have most of her documents that if anybody wants it, I can just like email it to them. So I've been doing that, like, let me
Okay.
just.
So you're
email.
focusing on your sphere, you would say, like your sphere of influence, the people that you know,
Yeah,
like
right
that.
now,
Okay.
that's what I'm doing because.
And that's the easiest. People don't realize
first,
that
I
because
think.
they're like, oh, they're gonna think I'm new. Like as soon as I got licensed, I literally yelled it to like everyone. I was like, I'm an
And
agent, I'm an
that's what
agent.
I'm doing, I'm circling back.
Because they'll
to-
forget. They'll
to
forget
people
about
that I
you.
work with, that they already knew that I was a realtor and they know me as like a very ethical person.
Mhm.
And I think that will be good because they know that anything that I will do, I will be very professional. So.
They trust you.
Exactly. So I'm looking for the people that already trust me because I feel that they will give me referrals because they trust me.
Mhm.
You see, so that's
Exactly.
what I'm
That's the
actually-
way. And we have a script on that. We'll go
Okay.
into that now, and that way everybody can tap in. Okay, I have first here Tanya. No, no Tanya. Cesar.
Yes, hi, good morning.
Good morning, Cesar.
Yes, I'm working as a real estate agent since 2014. And since that time, I have been working with renters. I did like 200 rentals at that time. So basically, I'm working in my database, converting those clients for rentals to buyers. Now I'm trying to learn more about how to get more listings, working with expired listings, cancel listings. No, that's all.
Okay. Okay, awesome. And Malak, did I say that right?
I'm not sure if you guys hear me, but yes, you said it correctly. It's Malak.
Okay.
So I've been a realtor for since March or April. I'm fairly new. I was with another brokerage and I just joined Keller Williams last month.
Nice.
So I started doing rentals as well, trying to get leads, through Facebook, Marketplace, and things like that. Now I'm focusing on FISBOs and just circle prospecting every day.
Nice. Okay. And how's that working out? How do you like it?
So I like it when I'm very productive and I feel like, I learned a lot about time blocking and things like that, and really time blocking and just calling and calling and calling. I was scared of the rejection, like, what you were saying. Yes, I was scared of it, but I did notice that for every rejection, I had a positive conversation with other people. So that kind of like, counterbalanced the few rejections that I had,
Yeah, and that's awesome that you said that because it's a mindset thing. So if you see it like that, you'll keep making those calls because you know that you're learning something out of it. Even though you got rejection, and no doesn't always mean no. It just means maybe not right now. And if you're seeing it like that, then you'll keep making those calls without a problem. So that's awesome, Alec.
Thank
Okay.
you.
So we're gonna do a script. I'll start here and then we'll go around and then we'll hop on when Yaritza's done. We'll hop on, and I'm not sure if Tanya's in, but just jump in, like whoever, for the script, we'll just fill it in. And then this is a way of getting referrals. When you're talking to these people, you can ask them, okay, yeah, I get it. You don't want to sell, but I'm like, but if you do know of anyone, like, can you just think of me? And always when you're having those conversations, make sure that you get like their phone number, their addresses, if possible, their emails, because you can always write them a handwritten note. When I called expireds, even when they were telling me, oh no, I'm taking a break right now or whatever, I would still send them like a handwritten note. Thank you for taking my call. I send them business cards. So it was kind of like another touch. They might have thrown it away probably, but it was just something like, hey, if I send them that card at the moment where they needed a real estate agent, my card got in the mail, you never know. And business cards don't cost me anything. So I'm just like, okay, I just send it. You send a thank you card. So make sure you're connecting with that. As long as you're getting their email, or if you can get their home address, it's perfect because you can put them on command and then put them on a smart plan where they're getting, constant touches from you. So this is a way to ask for referrals. So I'll start it off and then just everybody jump in. Okay, so hi, my name is Luz with Keller Williams. Your name was given to me by a close friend of ours, your Matt's name, and he thought that I should give you a call. Is right now a good time to talk for a couple minutes? Yes, excellent.
Your Matt's name, but then you're thinking about buying a house and within the next 2 months, and asked if I would please give you a call. He and I both want to make certain that you are in great hands and that you have the very best, so that's why I'm calling. Since everyone likes to know what houses are selling for, I'd like to share my real estate app with you. You can see what's going on anywhere from the streets to any place in North America. It's free, there's no cost to you, and I can send you a text to link to it. Does that sound good? Great.
Okay, so is everybody using command? Are you guys using smart plans?
Just started.
Okay, so the smart plans are awesome because if you put everybody on a smart plan and you have their address, even if you don't have their addresses, but let's say you get this lead from a ad that you got from a house in Kendall. You already know they're looking for a house in Kendall because that's how the lead came to you. They clicked on it, they like the address or whatever. So once you get that lead, even though you don't have that person's address, you know the area they're looking for. So put them on a smart plan, select that area, and then they're getting that constant bi-weekly of that area. So they know what's active, what's pending, what's everything. So the smart plans, if used properly, they can get you business because I subscribe to like a lot of things. So I'm constantly getting things. And most of the time I'm ignoring it. But when I sit there sometimes and I'm like, okay, this is what I need. And then I get that email at that time, I've clicked and I've enrolled in things. So it just being there when they need it. So if you're constantly being top of mind and they're getting that nurture from you every month. And then there's another smart plan of promote my app. So you can actually send them in the smart plan and it'll tell you like the steps, but it'll say like, okay, at first they're gonna send a text, then they're gonna send an email. And then now they have a link to your app. So now when they subscribe and they download the app, because it's like a Zillow app, like they can look at your stuff, you're getting all the notifications of, it's kind of like stalking. But it's like awesome for you because now you know what's on their mind. So you can actually see what they viewed at the time that they saw it. So when they're looking at 123 Banana Street, you already know they're interested in that property. Okay, now I can call them and be like, hey, I noticed that you like this property. Would you like to go see it? Like, what did you like? What didn't you like? And now you're getting like, now you're connecting. Now you're getting like those nuggets. Okay, so if you are buying, can someone jump in and read that? Zoom, jump in too, if you can.
Have you seen anything you'd like thus far? Great. Are you working with any other agent? No? That's good.
Okay.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Okay. If they're selling, when are you planning to move? Have you listed with another agent? No? Excellent. The next step is for us to get together. I can answer answer all your questions and explain how the entire process works. It will only take about 20 minutes. Can we meet today, or would tomorrow be better for you? They reply, no, I understand. Just so you know, I have a wealth of interesting and timely information about the real estate market in the area, and I'd love to send it to you. Let me make sure I have your current email and address. And do me a favor, please. If you hear of someone with a real estate need, will you keep me in mind? Great. And after you download the app and try it out, send me a text and let me know how you like it. I'd appreciate that. Thank you for your time today, and please let me know if there's anything else, if there's anything I can ever do for you.
Okay, so here are some scripts. Also, if you're new altogether in real estate, or if you're just new to Keller Williams, we won't do that. But it's pretty much just let everyone know. Let everyone that you talk to should know that you're in real estate. You, especially your family, because those are the ones that are going to vouch for you. Let them know you're in real estate. Now you're licensed to sell. You can go and use your license. You know, like you guys are paying for your MLS. You're paying to be in this office. Like use all the resources that are given to you. Co-Realty is an excellent resource that the office gives us, because if you know, especially now with such a low inventory with listings, if you have a client that's looking to move to Stable Chase and everybody's going on a multiple offer situation, and you know that your offer probably won't get accepted because your buyer isn't that strong, he's pre-qualified, FHA, whatever the case is, now you can circle prospect Stable Chase, call and be like, hey, have you guys noticed like the rise in the inventory, like prices are going to the roof, would you be interested in selling? And you can probably get an off-market property where you can be a matchmaker for your client, instead of going into this bidding war with everybody else. Just if your client is telling you they want to move to a specific, like I'm doing that with a buyer now, he's a cash buyer and he wants to move to Amaretto. I'm like, okay, there's one listing, and I spoke to the agent and the agent's like, yeah, we have like 10 offers. I'm like, okay, I can't compete with 10 offers. Maybe I can, like I can put it in and whatever, but I'm like, but I can circle prospect, I can door knock the area, and I could be like, hey, did you know what your house is worth right now? A lot of people don't know how much their house is worth. When we sell a house, I usually door knock the area before to invite them to the open house, and I'll door knock after to let them know, oh, we got this many offers, so I have this many clients still looking to move in your area, would you be interested? And when they see what the house sold for, they're like, that's how much my house is worth. They don't know. Like, we're the professionals, we're here to educate them. So we need to let them know, hey, yes, your house is worth $430. If you bought 25 years ago, you have a lot of equity in your house. And if you bought 25 years ago and you had kids, your kids are probably out of the house now. So you've outgrown the house. You don't need that space. So these people might be a lot. I've gone to areas where that's what they told me. They're like, my kids are out of the house. I have a 5-bedroom, and like, what am I going to do? It's just me and my wife. So those people are ready to sell. They're ready to cash out on their equity. They're old. They want to, move on with their lives. So.
What's your rebuttal to those that are like, yeah, I just at the value of my house is really high, but if I was to sell and somewhere else, the value of that home is also going to be really high. It's going to be great.
So obviously, if you're gonna sell in a high market, you just have to buy in a high market. However, the advantage for the buyers right now is that their interest rates are still low. So when the interest rates go up, the properties might stabilize a little, but you're still going to be paying. So it's just like educating them and letting them know, yes, I understand you are going to buy in a high market. However, you are going to have that purchasing power, because now you have this, you're going to be a cash buyer now. So if you cashed out on $400,000 in equity and you just want a $200,000, now you have purchasing power. You're going in as a cash buyer like that. I have somebody like that, what they're telling me. They're like, oh yeah, I'm like, I sell now, but where am I going to go? And then I tell them, I'm like, look, you are going to have to buy like at a higher market. However, with the terms that we can put, we can probably get you a post occupancy so we can close your house. You can have that cash, and now we can go put contracts in for you, but without that contingency of getting your home sold first. So I have a listing appointment actually on Saturday, and that's one of the things he had told me before. But what I did with him is that I sat down, I had conversations, so I already know all his objections. Like I already know that was one of them. So I told him that. I was like, look, right now you're gonna sell at top dollar, but not only that, we can get you the best terms. For you, obviously, you don't wanna, where are you gonna go once you sell? I can get you a post occupancy, possibly, right? Like you might have to pay for it as a rent, but you won't have to like leave your house right now. But now you have all this cash that you can go in and submit an offer as a cash buyer. And that puts you on top because cash buyers are top, then conventional, So that's usually what I tell. Like, I'm like, cash out on your equity and we'll talk from there. All right, guys. Let's see. Okay, so the handwritten notes, like I said, every time I talk to someone, even if it's my family members, even if it's like my cousins, or like I call them and, they all know I'm in real estate, I'll send them a thank you card, and sometimes I don't put anything about real estate there. I'm like, hey, hope you're doing well, just thinking about you, and I'll put my business card inside. So I didn't talk about real estate, but I kind of threw real estate in there just so they know, like, or if they need my cards or whatever, So I always put business cards in there, and I periodically do write handwritten notes even to my family. Okay. So get your head in the game, lead generation. So that's something that when I started, I literally did like 5 hours a day of lead generation. Because if you don't do lead generation, like you don't have a business. That's where it's all at. You have to get out there. You have to talk to people. You can't be a secret agent. Okay, so let me see how I can. How do I make this bigger? Does anybody know? Like, yeah, like how it was before, like the whole page.
Can you just double click the slide?
That's what I'm
The
trying.
left.
Yeah, I suck at Zoom. That'll work.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Techie one in class. I get saved.
I don't know if it'll work for the other.
Okay. So, have you guys seen this funnel? I'm sure that, okay. So as you start up here, the more leads, the more people that you're putting in your funnel, whether they're real estate or not, just people that those are all, the further down you get them in that funnel, that's when you're getting paid. We don't get paid hourly, we don't get paid, we get paid on commission. So all of our objectives should be getting everybody to the closing table, getting everybody a rental, getting anybody to close. And rentals are great because rentals can also be potential buyers in the future. So you never, like, I had somebody that like, oh yeah, I don't want to do rentals anymore. I'm like, I still do them because those renters will become buyers someday. Some of them don't even know they can buy, and like now there's so many like down payment assistance, so many things that you can help them out and maybe educate them and tell them, hey, why haven't you considered buying? Because
just paying off some debt for that year or something like
or
that.
they might be closer than they thought they weren't. So leads is the number one thing, as many people as you can put in your database. And then if you guys use command, you'll also see that there's like tags that you can put. So for their last name, so if it's like Rodriguez, there's like a code, it's in the never ending referrals. I just don't know the number, but I think it's like RNO. So you'll put, if it's their name is Rodriguez, you'll put like the tag RNO, and then you'll filter. And then let's say your first week, you'll call everybody that's RNO. And then that's how you keep, like first week RNO, second week A&W. So it's like you're doing it systematically so that way it can work out for you. You're writing notes, write the notes, because you're going to talk to so many people, you're going to forget what the conversation was. If they have a dog, if they have a child, get their names, connect with them. So when you call them back, they're like, oh, you remembered. Oh yeah, last month when we talked, your daughter was graduating. How did it go? Like now you have some, something to talk to them about. And now you're gaining that rapport with them and you're gaining their trust. So that way we're getting closer to the funnel. And then obviously contract and payday. Okay. So this is, I guess before you capture the person, capture the lead or whatever, you connect through them, whatever. My team does it a lot. I do it, I'm just not as active as I should be. Social media is a great free tool that everybody should be using. If you're showing your properties that you're going to show your rentals, when I started, the first thing I did, I didn't have, I did my first rental like a month in when I started like real estate. And then, but before that, like the day I got an agent, I started doing requests to see properties, just vacant properties. And I would do videos. I didn't have a buyer for it. They don't know that, but they see that you're active. They see that you're coming up on their news feed with videos showing them properties. Oh, look, this beautiful home is 300,000 in Kendall or whatever. And I would just make videos like that. And I would post it on my social media. And if you post and you get in the habit of posting regularly, trust me, people will start, they'll connect with, they'll be like, oh, where is that? I've gotten people tell me, hey, where is that? And then I'm like, oh, you want to see it? I'm like, are you trying to move? Like, then and this is people that like I'm talking about, I went to high school with, you know, but they're asking questions. So why are they asking questions? They're interested, they're moving, they have some plans to go somewhere.
Especially with videos, speaking about Instagram, people really love that.
Yes. And now with the reels, that's like, I'm trying to work. I like TikTok a lot. But I haven't used it in real estate. I use it for stupid things. But that's one of the things I'm working on now. I'm working on putting together like a TikTok where I can share it also on my social media, but it's real estate because it's like, you know, I don't want it to be like all like, oh, I'm so serious. That's just not my personality. So I want like, you know, it's kind of like funny and it's kind of like entertaining. So, and I have people connect with me like that too. They're like, oh my God, this, and that's a form. Oh, yes, just.
Can I have the
Sure, Christina, just take over.
perspective? Sorry, forgot everything. Thank you.
You're welcome. So yeah, so TikTok is kind of like a reel type of thing. So then using the reels and posting them on your social media and just engaging, like Jason does
It's
some.
funny, I was just saying that to Christina this morning.
Mhm.
I was mentioning of like that, my planning about using social media. I have used social media before. TikTok didn't exist,
Mhm.
when I was doing my other business. And I will say that a lot of my success back then, was because of social media, having a web page, having a group page, that it was engaging with the clients constantly. I also did the giveaways, whatever.
Yeah.
So we also participate in local like groups and like market,
Mhm.
but on Facebook, I was using Facebook. So I really want to tackle the Instagram, the Facebook, and I do have TikTok, and now it is used for
Yeah.
More business and stuff like that.
So I
So
have,
I'm planning to do that.
I do have, so for Instagram, I do, like I have it both. It's like my business and my personal page. So I don't try when people are looking like at my Instagram, it's not just all real estate. I do have real estate and I throw it in there, but I have like personal videos, you know, so they are engaging with me, but they also know that Luz Alva does real
So
estate.
they don't feel tired.
They don't feel like, oh
Exactly what
God,
I'm
all she
trying
posts is
to
it's
do.
like,
I have like a little bit of personal, but not personal, or what I feel like it could be out there.
Yeah.
Like that, engaging, like, you know, pretty pictures, you know, and I want to.
and that's a good way too, because like if you're going to like a restaurant, let's say just you and your whoever, a friend or whatever, you're going to a restaurant, you're posting something. That person can also connect with you because you posted a dish.
Or because they like that thing.
Oh, they're like, I was there last night or
Yeah.
something. And now you're connected. Oh yeah, and that's another way. Like you're not talking about real estate, but now she's having a conversation with Yaritza, and Yaritza happens to be a realtor. So now you came top of mind.
When people do Instagram just for their business, it's kind of a little boring.
It does.
Because you're not really engaging with them only if you want specifically that. But when you have pages that are like normal, but with business, you're constantly seeing them in your feed, you're constantly interacting. So you can do both. That's just my opinion. I support the trend that I've noticed.
Yes, for Instagram, I do it like that. I don't have a business Instagram, I have a regular Instagram. However, for Facebook, it's different. You do need a Facebook page because there's Facebook jail. I just took like a
I know.
Facebook class. I didn't even know about that. Yeah. So if you're posting or you're trying to like promote yourself as a business, you need a business page or they'll kick you out. So I do have a personal page and I do have a business page. In my business page, I share it. You can do that. So I'll post in my business page and then I'll just share it to my business page. Or I have it set up too when I do stories with Instagram, it automatically shares to my Facebook. Yeah. So I have it set up like that, so I don't have to do 2 videos or nothing. It just automatically posts in both. So that's been also the first rental I ever got came from social media, and it wasn't even somebody I knew. Like they just saw, like they're like, oh my God, you post so much, like you're very active, and people want to know that they're not dealing with somebody that's like, oh yeah, I can maybe get you. Like they don't want to hear excuses. They want you to be available. Like they just have this impression of us that we just sit here and do nothing. So they're like, okay, if I call you, you better be available, and if you're not, then they're gonna move on. So when I was posting, I was going to be every day before I would like come to the office or leave the office, I would stop at a vacant place and just make a video. I'd make a video and then I would post it on my social media. Oh, beautiful 3-2, a beautiful rental or this or that or whatever. And I would post it. And I got people asking me questions like, oh, where is it? How much is it going for? How many bedrooms? Like, you know, just stupid. But now I know that they're interested because they wouldn't ask if they're not. Okay. So okay, so okay, so in page 18, the connect. When you're connecting, these are some connecting questions that you want to ask. You want to know if, when I go door knocking, for example, when I go door knocking and the dog comes out, oh my God, he's so cute. Like, what's his name? It's the most ugliest dog in the world. They don't care. You don't care. People love their animals and they want to know that you care or that you like animals or whatever. So I'm not going to go and be like, oh my God, your dog is hideous. But, you know, like, I'm like, so I already have the name. So before I leave, I'm like, okay, tell whoever, I say bye, you know, whatever. And there we connected. Like now she remembers me as the person that pet her ugly dog. And like, you know, I know her name. And now I have their address because I just door knocked their house. I have their name. So I usually write them like a thank you card. And if you don't get that, like you can still look it up in property search and look up their address or whatever. But since I'm door knocking, I usually have that. So if they're answering the door, I write them a thank you note. I'm like, oh, thank you for like taking the time to talk to me or whatever. Here's my business cards. If you ever have any real estate needs, I'm here, whatever. So let me see this one. Okay, so here you have the connecting questions. If you would, please tell me a little bit about your family, job, life. You need to know those. Have you guys know what the forward is? That's for the conversations that you should like how to kind of systematically like do it. So forward is
family, occupation, recreation, and dreams.
Yes. So that is very important because when you're talking to those people and you're blanking out, okay, let me ask about family. He has a kid, let me ask about the kid. If he has, the mom was not feeling good, let me ask about the mom. Those are connecting questions that you should like have in your head. Or maybe the last time you talked to them, they told you he's in between jobs. Oh, did you start your new job? Like, how's that going? Do you like it? Do you not? Or are you working from home? These are just things that you can like do to keep them on the phone. People like talking about themselves. So let them talk and don't talk over them. Like I used to do that a lot because I talk very fast and sometimes I need to catch myself and shut up. But it was something that I needed to realize because I'm like, okay, these people I didn't call them so I could talk about myself. Like they want to tell me about themselves. They want to talk about their kids. They want to talk about their animals. So you got to let them talk. And you should be writing notes because if they're telling you all these things that are going on in their lives, write notes in commands. There's like a note section. Write everything they told you. So when you call them back, you know what they told you and you have that connection with them. Okay, so assets, their wants, needs, and plans. What are you looking for? What do you want to do? Pinpoint their location. Where would you like to buy? Where is your home located? So asking them where are they living now and where do they want to move to? Why do they want to move there? Because I've had buyers where they're like, oh yeah, I want to move to Pembroke. We go, oh no, you know what? I'm going to move to Homestead. Oh no, I think I'm going to move to Boca. Like, no, like you need to have, and you need to set the stage and you need to ask them, okay, where do you want, what takes you there? Like, is it your job? Like, can your job be transferred? Like, why are you scattered? Because if not, you're going to waste your time. You're going to be driving these people around all over. And if you don't know their motivation of why they need to sell, like, oh no, my lease expires or I'm selling my house in 2 weeks and, you know, I need to get out of here. Then, you know, that's a motivated seller or buyer. So determine their motivation. There we go. Why are you moving? And I think that is one thing that I didn't do personally. And it really it's not that it affected me. I did showings, but I didn't do showings for the right motivated people. And you'll notice that if the person is highly motivated, how they'll work with you versus a less motivated person. Because the less motivated person, if he's a buyer, you're asking him for documents, they're going to take their sweet time. They'll be like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, because they don't have that urgency. Versus a person that, no, I need to leave tomorrow, they'll get you the papers that you need like in 5 minutes. And vice versa with the listings. With the listings, if they have no motive, oh yeah, I just want to see, I want to test the market. That's not a motivated seller. And they're gonna waste your time, and you're gonna go do videos, and you're gonna do pictures for them, and then they're gonna be like, yeah, I don't think I want to do this anymore. But if you find a motivated seller, and I had that because I had a motivated seller once and I had an unmotivated seller, and I noticed the difference, and it's game changing because my motivated seller, he was in the army, he was getting relocated, was closing on his house. So he was like, every time I would ask him for something, he was like on point. And you really need to determine like their motivation. Okay, so get a feel for their timeline. When would you like to do this? Because if they tell you in 5 months and you're showing them properties now, you're wasting your time. Because if they need to move in 5 months, whatever you're seeing now is not going to be available in 5 months. Assess their expectation. How do you plan to do this? How are they moving? Are they elders that, they really can't move because they don't have like the means to be able to move? How are just knowing everything about your client, knowing, what their motivation is, how are they doing it? When do they need to do it by? Like, these are all connecting questions, but they're also like questions that are going to help you move forward with them. Let me see. Do you guys have any examples of connecting questions that you guys have used, things that you've used to connect with your FSBOs or with anybody that you've talked to? Who was it? Malak, I know that you do circle prospecting. How do you connect, like on top of asking them for business, like are you connecting with them like on a personal level so they can trust you kind of thing? No? Robert?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Sorry.
Oh, sorry about that. So yeah, that I have an example just yesterday. I had this FSBO that I called her husband a few weeks ago, and he didn't answer. I texted him, no answer. And I called her, and she remembered me for some reason. And she was like, yeah, my husband just got a stroke. And I told her, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm in the medical field also. I'm a nursing student, and I did work with a lot of cardiologists and neurologists. So like we started having that conversation, and it was funny because as soon as I told her, I showed her that I actually cared about her, she was like, you know what? Why don't you call me next week and maybe we can set up a time and we can meet? I was like, oh, and that was a great way. So I try to include my, my passions, involve my passions and open up a little bit as well. And I feel like the more I open up, the more they open up.
Yes. And now you have something to talk about when you call them next week. Aside from, asking for the appointment and everything, you know that he had a stroke.
Correct.
Yeah. So now you know that he had a stroke. So now you can ask about how the husband's doing. And that's really what it comes down to. People want to know that you care. People want to know that you're asking for it. People want to talk about what's going on. Maybe she needed to vent and Malak called her at the right time. So these are all good things. And the fact that, he had a stroke, she's in the medical field, that was another form that they connected. So that's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
it's not her, but it's like you did great. Okay. So 19. So you guys, I guess, just have to identify what kind of closer or how aggressive or not aggressive. There's different ways to close. So here are some examples. The hard close is just going for it. Oh, sorry, Robert, can you tell me for your FSBOs, what are you using to connect? I'm sorry.
Honestly, just, I try to gather as much information about what's going wrong for them, right? And so then by connecting with them, it's like, offering that value, like showing them like, hey, listen, there's other ways to make this easier for you to garner more attention for your property. So like that's been really a way to connect with them, because they're like, oh, well, this guy is, kind of guiding the right way. But like I've noticed, like I want to go the social media route. I'm about to start setting that up. But one other realtor she did was like she'll throw hashtags, like she's a dog owner. And she has like a specific breed. So like, like Yorkie owners are very passionate about other Yorkie owners.
Yeah.
So like she found using that was like a great way to connect with potential clients. Just like sharing a common interest. So like she used, I don't know what she had, like I think it was like a French bulldog. And so like her hashtag would be like, realtors hashtag French bulldog, and like the majority of her clients are all French bulldog owners.
That's awesome.
So How do you
So
do it?
I actually just started doing something, not that, but I always did use hashtags. But I started joining like a lot of local communities because especially like where I live, I live in Homestead. So a lot of like there's a lot of communities like moms of Homestead or like people of home like it's just so I started joining a lot of them because I'm from there and I want to farm that area because it's easier for me. So that's one of the things that I've been doing. I've been joining those communities and I just have to be more active because I think I joined too many. But just I time blocked where I have an hour that I dedicate just to social media. So that means if I'm posting something and people are engaging with me, which I try to do a lot of polls. So like if I go to a house and it has a nice view, I'll be like, oh, do you like the view? Yes, no, or like no, not for me or whatever. So then I have people engaging with me and then I reach out to them. Oh yeah, I'm like, what did you like about it? I'm like, yeah, I know, I really like that. Or like it's just another way of connecting. Polls are good. Asking, where it says in Instagram it says ask a question. You can ask them, hey, do you guys like prefer quartz or marble? Like just little things that'll get people engaged with you. And I've gotten some people have engaged with me, and it's funny because the people that have engaged with me are not really like my close friends. They're friends that I have on Facebook because I've gone to high school or middle school with them, but it's not really like my immediate friends that are engaged. So that's good because I'm making now contacts with old friends that they know me and we just haven't like we've lost touch. So yeah, that's a good way. So here is closing is the process of asking for business. Connecting is crucial, but unless you get their business, you won't be making any money. Many agents are very successful at connecting with people. It's the asking for business that is so challenging. Your goal for the call is to close for at least one of the following. One, an appointment with them. Two, a referral from them. Three, a reciprocal connection with them. So I had a closing last Friday. And one of the things that I asked them at the closing table, because that's when they're the happiest, is do you know anybody like that's looking to buy or sell? And coincidentally, her when we did the walkthrough of the house, which was like done like 2 days before, she they had gone earlier or later than me or something. They stayed, I think, after than me. And she was like, yeah, I was talking to the neighbor, and the neighbor says that he's only going to live here for 1 more month and then he wants to sell. So I was like, okay. So now I already know where she lives. So obviously I'm sending her a thank you card because we just had a closing. I'm going to send her like something on the mail. But now I already know because she's happy that we got to the closing table. She's getting the house. She's getting the keys. She's happy. Do you know anybody that's looking to buy? And that's also a good time to ask for reviews. If you guys have a business page, you want to tell them, hey, go on my business. Can you write me a review? So that's going to help you. People are looking at that. They're seeing it's coming from different people. So you want to ask them. So I usually have asked for reviews at the closing table, and you want them to do it right then and there, like before you leave, because if not, they're not going to do it. Or once their offer gets accepted. Many things can happen after, but once their offer gets accepted, especially in this market where like people are struggling with that, they are the happiest. When you give them that call, oh, your offer's been accepted. Okay, can you write me a review? Because that's going to help your business as well. Okay, so the hard close. Let's meet. That you're just going for it. You're just straight out. Like, let's meet. Like, let's do this. Like, are you available? And you want to do your appointments. Like, if you're having a conversation today, you want to tell them, hey, I have an opening today at 3 or 5. What works best? Oh, today's not a good day. Tomorrow. Because if they tell you Monday, guess what? When you call them on Sunday to confirm, they're gonna be like, oh my God, I forgot about the appointment, and things just keep changing. So the sooner you get that appointment, the better. Okay, so the soft close. Can you read it, Robert?
Soft close?
Yes.
So I really enjoyed visiting with you. When would you like to get together to discuss this further?
Okay. 3.
The direct close, can we meet today or would tomorrow be better?
Yeah.
For the indirect close, would it be okay if I got some information to look over and then we can meet to discuss?
Okay. 5, Yaritza.
I think you agree that we have gone over enough today. That meeting will be our next step.
Okay. 6. Can I have Cesar read the assumption close? The assumptive close. I'll read it. It sounds like we should meet. I am available most times this week. So what works best for you? And then 7, I guess we'll jump with everybody in the class because
The negative positive close. Would you be offended if I asked if we could meet to go over this? 8, the take back close. I really enjoyed visiting with you. To be honest, I'm not sure if I can be of help or not, but I would be honored if we could meet to find out.
The tie-down close, wouldn't it make sense for us to meet in the next day or so? And then the alternative choice close. What works better for you? Meeting today, sometime this afternoon, or tomorrow morning?
okay, now I want you guys to circle 2 that go best with your personality. Like, what's your style? And what would you feel more comfortable saying? In 19. So what kind of closer are you when you're asking for appointments or when you like, just, I guess, read them to yourself and say, okay, yeah, I feel comfortable saying something like this when I talk, or this is my style. We lost my luck.
Oh, I remember to say like, that sounds great, that's sweet, you know, like, I keep it really short.
So you're the hard close, kind of.
Um,
That's me.
I keep it close and direct. Normally, I don't elaborate much
Okay.
on the wording. That way they can understand me in case like there's like, you know, my accent or something
Mhm.
like that. I try to
Be direct.
be direct, yes.
Okay.
And sometimes, like if I want to like meet, I say like, when are you available? In the mornings or in the afternoons? I go directly to giving them some options.
So they can like pick from those 2.
So instead of like when you're available, then they're going to be like, you know, like, so I'm like, are you available on the mornings or in the afternoons? What's best for you?
And you want to time block the time where you're doing and not letting them rattle you all over your schedule, because then it's taking that away from your business. So tell them, I have an opening, because you're a professional. If you go to the doctor, you know, like, they're going to tell you, okay, be here at 3 o'clock. They're not be like, oh, you know, yeah, you can be here at 7. They're not going to say after. So if you're a professional, like, you know, treat yourself like a professional and tell them, okay, I have an opening for you at 3 o'clock or tomorrow at 5. What would work best? Oh, mornings. Okay, I can do tomorrow at, you know, you set those standards for them because they'll see that value in you. What about you, Robert? What's your style?
I just like to be blunt, you know.
So let's meet.
Yeah, use the let's meet, you know, kind of, because you already feel confident enough that, you know, they're motivated to actually move forward.
To take that step.
And then the other one, when you have them on the fence and you're still trying to work it out, like convince them, I would go with the indirect close. You know, where they may not feel comfortable like committing, but like, hey, you know what, let's set up a time. Like, would it be okay if we go over some information, then we can meet to discuss, like, you know, it gives me opportunities to meet them in person, like you said, like you're better face to face, and hopefully convince them to, you know, move forward with that.
Okay. I'm more like the indirect close too. I've done like, let's meet. Okay, that's it. We should do this. Like, when are you available? And what about you?
I feel like I feel permission between the soft close and the alternative choice close.
I like that one, the alternative close.
Yeah, that combination.
What about Zoom? Can I get someone to? No. No, they're not having it today. Okay. Time blocking. Have you guys done time blocking? Did you guys follow a schedule? Do you guys, you know, how are you guys doing your time blocking? Or you guys just, if you have an appointment, you go for it, or how are you doing that? Or are you setting your appointments between 3 and 5 and like that's what you should do, or?
Right now, I'm pretty available, because as being new, it's not like I'm busy learning,
Mhm.
and whatever I can get my hands on, I'll just go ahead and schedule it.
So when I started, one of the things that really helped me was getting organized in that aspect, because even though you're new, you can still do things that will get you business. And you can, when you do get the business, then you'll time block for like your time. So now what I do is from like 9 to 12 is like my lead generation time. So during those times, I try not to answer emails, or even if I talk to people and they're telling me, oh yeah, I'm looking for a rental, like I don't open the search right then and there. Like that's from 12 to 1. I'm doing searches, I'm sending emails, I'm responding to that. Then I time like even my lunch. I'm like, okay, no, at 12:30 I have to eat, and because doing it like that, you'll respect that time. And your time for eating is your time for eating, not to be answering emails. Like do it like systematically, and then even like you're saying you're new, okay, I'm from 10 to 12, I'm going to take these classes, or I'm going to learn. This is my learning time. And then I have from 12 to 1 is my social media time. So I try to just do social media. So that way I'm not like at 5 posting. And I mean, I will post if I'm doing something, I'll post, but my actual time to respond to people and to post on social media or to get things that I'm going to post on social media is that time. And doing it like that, you'll get the most out of your day too, because
Eventually I will get.
yeah, no, yeah.
That's the whole idea that I want to figure it out.
Mhm.
At first we're a little scattered. I think
It's normal, yeah.
Because we're learning, we're doing so many things.
And they
so
send you
that's-
so many
that's the
things from the
time
board, from
management that
everything.
we will work on whatever best works for you.
Mhm.
Some people are morning person, some people are afternoon people. So we just have to identify what works best.
Yeah, you have to see where your energy level is the highest, because that's when you want to be making your
Also
calls.
for the phone calls, I think that that's important, that you sound like motivated. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So if you're not a morning person, perhaps that's not the time.
Yeah,
to
do your
call.
lead generation maybe from 2 to 5,
Exactly.
you know? That's, yeah. And I was like that at the beginning. At the beginning, I was like, I can't lead generate in the morning. Like I can't. Now I've gotten used to it, and I want to do it in the morning because I want to have like the rest of my day free. But at the beginning, I would do it from 2 to 5 because I was like, I'm so energetic at that time that at 9, I'm like, so I saw your listing came on the market. Like and it is about mindset. It is about your energy. All that has to come like into place. Yes.
The thing about the time blocking, like within the time that I've been here
Mhm.
so far, I've realized how pivotal it is, because not only do you dedicate your time to whatever it is that you have scheduled at the hour, but you get so much more done during the day.
Yes.
When you think you can, it's
Yeah.
really-
Jason will tell you, when I first started, he was like, you would come in all scattered, and I was all over the place because they would call me for like a rental, and I'm like so excited that I'm like, okay, I have to do the rental, I have to do this, and he's like, no. I'm like, you need to time block that time when you're gonna do the rental. I'm like, but do it between this time and this time. Dedicate and focus. Don't answer your emails. Don't do social media, because I would be there like trying to look for property, answering emails, and then he's like, don't do that. I mean, he's like, because you're doing too many things, but you're not doing anything right. And it's true. You want to make the best out of your day, and you want to make sure that the time that you're blocking for that activity, you're doing that activity, because it's going to get you the most. Are you doing time blocking, Robert?
Yeah, I mean, like she says, like it helps create structure and you can create discipline.
From the beginning.
Yeah.
Because if I had done that from the beginning, I would be way better right now. But I was so scattered.
Like, because now you're prioritizing what's most important, right? Which is always going to be lead generation, whatever.
Exactly.
Lead gen. But it just helps create the structure. Like I felt like the first week I was like frazzled. I'm like, oh, I'll take a class, I'll do this, and like every day was different. But like at the end of the day, I didn't feel like filled. Like I didn't feel like I accomplished what I needed to. So once I started implementing that, like a game changer right there.
And being busy doesn't mean you're being productive.
Yeah.
It just means that you're scattered and you think you're doing a lot, but really you're not really doing anything if you're not like being structured like that. So yes, I agree. Okay, there's a video apparently, but okay. Okay, so this was my first year taking Bolt. They had it last year, but it was like virtual, and I'm not like a virtual person. I have, believe it or not, I have severe ADD, and I can't sit still for too long. So doing that whole virtual Bolt, it didn't work for me. Now, it's here in the training room, so it's a little bit easier. I would still like for it to be like in person. However, it's still me being in the room and still talking to it's still better for me. So I come to that. And one of the things that was like a brain rattle for me, it was there's a page in Bolt, and it says like, what's the name of your dentist, the name of your doctor, the name of it's pretty much like the name of anybody you have association with. So I'm like, oh wow, this is like, I have 3 kids. So I'm like, they have 2 of them have different doctors. I'm like, I have a good relationship with them. Why didn't I ever think of like, like saying, hey, can I put like a little thing of business cards here? Or telling her, hey, like she's seen my son since he was born. So I'm like, why didn't I think of that? And that was really like a brain rattle for me because I didn't think of that. But those are ways that you can be connecting. Like my son, he plays soccer. So his coach has been, since I joined real estate, he's been trying to send me business. I haven't gotten any actual, but every time he has like a real estate question, he calls me. He's like, oh, now he has a property, I don't know where, like in Jupiter. I just referred him to an agent over there. He's a contractor. So I told him, I'm like, oh, I'll send you business, you send me business, whatever. So all these people that you have some kind of relationship, your dentist, your doctor, your podiatrist, like all these people are people that you can be, hey, by the way, I'm in real estate. If you need anything, I'm here. They may or may not call you, but at least now they know that one of their patients is a realtor. And if they don't have anybody, then you're it. So I think that's kind of what it is here, the sphere of influence, all the people who know you, trust you, and may do business with you. So, how many friends do you guys have on Facebook? Like right now, if you have to look at your Facebook.
Almost
800.
800. And I pretty much like it's connections that I have through my whole life. So most of them, I physically know them.
So okay.
Yeah.
So out of, how is it that there's like a ratio, like out of, I think it's every 100 should bring you like 3 pieces of business, something like that. There's like a,
they're scattered from
everywhere.
Yeah, they're not here in Florida.
So one of the things I
That's
put
my only
on
negative.
Instagram, one of the things I put, I can refer you to any top agent anywhere in the world, because you can still make money
Yes.
from that. You can still, if they have a custody, oh, I'll refer you to an agent over there. And now you can get that piece of business. Yeah, it's not the same commission that you would have got, but it's something versus
better.
nothing. Yeah. And if you have, like, I'm from Peru, so my family over there, they want to buy property. So I'm like, okay, I can refer you to somebody over there, so it's still business. And you never know when they want to move over here.
Good point. Like in my case, and I'm glad that we're having this discussion because it opens up for ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Because of like past like being related to the military and stuff like that, I know so many people in different states that I personally know them and had a close connection, and I didn't realize how I still can promote me and have them refer to an agent and Keller Williams agent and still get the service done, and that will still be something.
Yeah, you can tell, you'll be like, hey, I want to make sure that you're taken well care of. And in Keller Williams, we get this top of line training. So let me get you the best agent in your area to take care of you.
Exactly. And then it's kind of like you're having more than one agent, because then I'm going to, from afar, make sure that you're.
Yeah, and now you're checking in on them. Hey, how did you like this agent? Would you like another opinion? Like, how did you like them? Like, how, because it's also a personality thing. If you know this person and this person is very like, but then you make them like, you put them with a top agent, but this person's personality, they may not connect. So you want to make sure you're following up to and telling them, hey, did you like them? Like, was it like a good fit? And, then that way you can get that referral fee, and then you send your referral form and you still make your money.
So when you do that with the referral, like when you're referring the client, you do it through a referral form?
Yes. There, it's on DocuSign on the KW, I think, and it says referral form, and it'll say like the brokerage and who's asking, and then you would contact them and speak to them, and then tell them, okay, I'm sending you the form so you can sign it. And now you guys have an agreement that when they close, you're gonna get.
And that's with any agent. It doesn't have to be Keller Williams.
Yes.
It could be with any.
It could be with any broker. Yeah. Ideally, I mean, you want to connect them,
course,
but because I had the seller that I sold his house last month, he was in the Army too, but he was moving to Ohio, Toledo, I think, and there's no Keller Williams around there.
That's what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say.
So
And
I
have to be
got him
mindful of
another
that.
agent, and it wasn't a Keller Williams agent.
I know other realtors that are like friends of mine in different states. They're not necessarily with Keller Williams, but they're very
Yeah.
good at what they do.
Yeah.
And it's all
And if you
depends on the
trust them,
market there.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay, just making sure. Thank you.
No worries. Okay. Okay, so it says, think of the people closest to you as the inner circle of your sphere or influence. They are the biggest champions. They already know, trust, and respect you. Therefore, they are likely to be willing to help you. Because after all, people like to do business with those that they know, trust, and respect. Your inner circle is the group of people you'll look to most often and reward most often for help and support referring business your way. In fact, the majority of your business during your first year in real estate will most likely originate from your inner circle. It's only natural that your sphere is the place where you'll begin to find leads. So there's I think Gary Keller says it, but it says like lead with revenue, meaning we're all new, so we haven't made money yet. So you don't want to go and spend your savings or anything, you know, to like advertise yourself. So you're not going to go and make like bleacher or bench signs, you know, that's going to put you in the hole. You want to do that once you're making and generating that income. So one of the things that you can do for free is social media. You know, there's no money in that. You can get leads from that and you can follow up with them because everything is in the follow-up though. When you're following up with these people, that's really where the value is. If you call them once, they're gonna forget about you. The more you call them and you're staying engaged and everything, then you're gonna be able to connect with them. So things that you can do that are free. Door knocking. You can do your flyers here, you can door knock, that's free. You can post on social media, be active and try to get leads that way. And then you can even do Facebook ads. They're not that expensive. They're like $1 or something. And you can start doing Facebook ads. You can connect with any of the agents here, tell them, hey, do you have a listing I can advertise? Most of the time they'll tell you yes. So if I don't know, so one of us have a listing, you can be like, hey, can I promote it? And now if you bring me a buyer, there's a match. You get the buyer, I have the listing. And you know, the other person that has the listing, they're not wasting in promotion. You are. More than likely, they will tell you, yeah, you just always want to go and ask them for permission first.
You even do that through like MLS, right? You can see like which ones are.
There is an option in the MLS and it says okay to advertise. Yeah. I have seen some, but if not, you can always ask the agents here too, because they'll let you. There is a video. Let me pull it up if I can. Okay, go to page 22. And I'm gonna give you guys 10 minutes. Okay, so it's kind of a race. I don't know if Tanya is here. Okay. Hi, Tanya. No. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys 10 minutes, and in page 22.
Sorry,
Yeah.
that orange keeps glitching.
This?
Yeah, it might be a.
Oh. Oh, she's texting. Okay. Okay, she's at work. Okay, sorry, Tanya. Okay, so we'll do this and then I'll read what she wrote to me then. So go to page 22. I'm gonna give you guys 10 minutes and try to fill this out. I wanna see how many names and the more information that you can give on your personal people, and I'll give you guys 10 minutes and let's see who gets the most.
So like just names.
Yeah, like teachers of you, if you don't have children. Okay. Teachers or anything that you've like come in contact with. Like I still have teachers of mine in Facebook, you know, so just anybody that you can think of that you can fill out the most names in this activity. Let me see.
Okay, then where it says, the third one that it says personal service, what goes in that?
So people that do your hair, maybe your nail lady.
Okay, so in each box goes a different person.
No. Like, so for example, here in personal service, it says hair and nails. So if your hair lady is Maria, just put Maria, and if all the information, like if you have a phone number, you can put a phone number. You don't have to, but just so you know how many people you know. And you can put it in that same box, your nail lady or whatever. And if your nail lady or your hair lady isn't sending you business, find a new one. My nail guy, I go to Optima Nails in Homestead, and my nail guy has he has a vending machine, and in the vending machine where you put your money, he has a magnet of mine that I gave him, and he's like, "Has your business been booming?" And he sent me 3 pieces of they were rentals, but he still sent me business. Yeah. And then I told him, I was like, if you didn't let me put this here, I was gonna change it. Like we have that that relationship, so it comes easy, but you don't have to be like that. But you can tell them, hey, your barber, Jason, he just sold his barber an investment property. So these are people that you want. Now if they tell you, oh yeah, and they don't want to like even get your business card, or find another nail lady. When I went door knocking, there was a guy outside cleaning cars of the people that live there. And the girl I was door knocking with would be like, oh, okay, should we skip this house? And I'm like, no, let's go up to the guy. I'm like, they buy houses too. And sure enough, he's looking to buy a house with his girlfriend.
What is this giving me an idea
Mm-hmm.
that the people that I'm putting, this is some of the people that I could just call part of my 10, definitely. I'm just like,
It
right
is.
now, thank you.
It's like a,
Ooh, yeah, like a moment, realization.
I mean, if you really think about it, like when I sit there and do my nails, he takes 45 minutes to do my nails. Like he's asking me random stupid things, and then I throw in real estate. He's asking me like, oh, how's your day? Like, I'm like, oh, it's great. I just showed a property. Oh my God, and I'm throwing it in there, like. I need water, I'm gonna die.
Did it happen for you guys too? The whole exercise, kind of like opening ideas? Oh, yeah. Listen, right now, I'm just like, I was having a little hard time, like, thinking about who to call, or whatever, and now that I have it this way, categorized.
Yeah, once you
All
have
of
a
a sudden,
visual.
I have all these people, it's in my phone, it's hard to just think of all 300, 500 people that you have on your phone, like who to call. But when you categorize it this way, you remember them for what they do or what they mean to you, and it makes so much sense. So this is a good exercise to find our 10 people every day, I think. Categorize. That I think that you were trying to ask about that last time about the categories that he was talking about coming in. Remember? I know that you mentioned he was how they categorize by neighborhood and to recontact people. I know that he was teaching you something about that. That day, the guy from
Jason.
Jason, yeah.
Yeah, I don't recall you.
But yeah, it was something about how it looked for flying in the command. He was explaining us about that. I know that you mixed, I remember. But this actually is a good mental,
Yeah,
Way.
that helps. That's the purpose of the class.
yes,
you
at
know.
least for us, new, I think, because he had it very systemized, but to get there, we need to start somewhere. So I think that this is a great way.
Your
Like,
sphere of influence is going to be your first piece.
the first, yeah, and then you can put them in that category that he was talking about.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I think you're talking about the tags.
Yeah, yeah, like you can, and then put notes and stuff like that. So this is a good exercise.
So how much did you guys come up with?
So actually, I came with 10
Okay.
people that I'm actually going to call.
Yeah.
Like, I just realized.
Yeah, call them, and there should be scripts for it, like things that you could say, just talk to them normal, like have a simple conversation with them, and then you throw in there, oh, what I did during COVID, because I got my license during COVID, so everything was closed. I did care calls a lot. So I was like, hey, how are you doing? How's COVID? Like, are you bored in the house or whatever? And then it just came up, oh, what did you do? Because since I was in the restaurant business, we all got furloughed. So they were like, oh, I'm like, yeah, I actually, that's it. I parted ways and I'm, doing real estate. And they're like, oh my God, good for you, or whatever. So it just came up. Like when you ask them about their job, they're going to ask you about it. It's kind of like it just comes natural to people. What about you, Robert? How many did you come up with?
Oh, I'm low key outside of this, so like I really don't have a very big sphere. Keep it like very small.
Mhm.
So like really my strategy is, it's easy to lean on your sphere of influence
Mhm.
for your first leads, but it's all about fishing later on
there's just so much business you can get once you've tackled them, you know, you have to.
I think it just gets you comfortable, like getting the routine of like what to do.
What did you do prior to real estate?
I was in also hospitality.
Oh, really?
Hospitality management in hotels.
Okay.
So I've done F&B, I've done all that.
From where? Where did you do?
Last position I had was assistant property manager at Lowe's in South Beach.
Okay. Let me
But
see.
just with the pandemic, it showed like it just it's crazy. It's 24-hour
That's what
operation. Pandemic really made you realize the importance of quality of life. So I was just like, it's good time to tap out.
I actually went to school to college for hospitality, and I was like, okay, yeah, why do I feel like I have to do this just because I've done it forever? I'm like, but really, I'm like, I don't want to work weekends and holidays, and
Yeah.
that is required,
Yeah.
to do what. So yeah, I was like the same way. I was like, I always said I wanted to do real estate, but it was always like I postponed it, and then finally during the whole, when I saw that like it was going to hit the pandemic, like they were talking about already about shutting down everything, I was like, Gold Coast, and I was like signing up, and I took the course and everything, and I actually got certified right before the school closed. Like, yeah, they were doing, my class was the last one, and then taking the test was another admission. But okay, so we'll watch this video because it's telling me to show it to
You
you.
didn't take it online?
So I went in person because I did it at the beginning of March. I did it the first week of
Or
March.
they would feel kind of like,
Yeah. But I failed the test.
yeah,
By 1 point,
me too.
I failed the test by one.
1 week or?
So I had two options. They told me, you can either come back the following week and take the whole course, because I did the 1 week course. So I was there Monday through Sunday all day.
Yeah, that's what the one I was.
It was a nightmare. But because of my work, I didn't want to miss out work. I was like, okay, I'll take 1 week off and get it over with. But then I failed by 1 point. So they were like, okay, you can skip a week and come back when we teach it again and do the whole week again and then test at the end of that week. Or you have to wait till next month and you just take the test. But if you fail the test, you got to take the class anyway. So I was like, I'll just take the class all over again. So I took the class, and it was Friday. They said, because they originally had said they were going to let us finish the whole thing because it was that Sunday. And then they said on Friday, they were like, we have to close, like the city's telling us to close. So then they told me, you can wait for us to get the authorization to do the virtual with the professor, but we don't know when that's going to be. Or you can do online, but we can't credit you what you've done up to now. You have to start from the beginning. So I started from the beginning. I feel like I know everything in that book from A to Z, okay? I've taken every single thing on that thing. So I started over and I passed it. I told my mom, I'm like, look, here's a picture of me. This is what I look like, my food, like, because I told my mom, I was like, I need you to stay in my house. Like, I need to study and I need to like finish it. So I did it in 2 weeks. And then I tested, then the testing centers were closed because they were like limited or whatever. So I ended up taking it in May. So they were starting to open at limited capacity. They were like I was gonna go to North Carolina to take the test because the soonest ones they had here were like in December. And I was like, I'm not waiting till December. So I was gonna go to, and then one opened up in South Miami. So I took the class.
Let me ask you something.
Mhm.
From the time period as to when you passed the course exam,
Mhm.
and you got your fingerprints and whatever, and then you registered online to take the state exam with the DVPR, how long did it take for them to like send you that email that you're?
It's
Well,
2
I
to
just
3
did it in
business
February,
days.
so
to
I
be a
can
month.
tell you.
So like apply right now. I made the mistake of waiting for my class to end, and then I waited 4 other months. to take the state.
Well, for me, it was pretty quick.
Yeah.
though.
Oh, you already did the course.
Yeah,
So you're done.
Yeah, but I'm like waiting to then now take the state exam.
Yeah. So when I started the course, that's the first thing they told us to
Yeah,
do
when I
that.
started
Yeah.
They didn't even tell me that. So I
No?
was there,
Did you go to
like,
Gold Coast?
I went to Gold
Who
Coast.
did you have?
For me, it was probably
El Viejito.
El Viejito.
Grandy.
No, I took the evening class, but I took the
Oh.
month class.
Oh, okay,
So I
okay,
had
okay.
like 1 month off, so it was like chilling for me. It was like 4 hours a
Yeah,
day.
yeah, yeah.
Because I know the 1 week is so much information. You're not gonna retain.
It's a
all of it.
lot, but what I've noticed with me is if I have so much time off like that, it's not good for me. For my personality. It's not. I need to be like,
bam, bam, bam.
yeah, I need a schedule. I need to like have it full, and I need to be like
I did this
active all the
I
time.
did this 7-day, well, the 6th day, and then.
And the 7th
day
test.
is the test. I nailed it. And then I did the cram right after, the cram, it's like the review. right after the review, the next day, I did the test and I passed. I think that one thing that it worked, because I have done board tests in the past, is really using the swag that they teach you. I don't know if that's something that you guys touch as a for in your class with Gold Coast, because I went with them too, but they teach me about the swag, which I have used it in other test scores that give you more of an opportunity to nail the test even when you're not sure about an answer. If you use that swag, I don't know, did they ever?
No, I
Okay,
don't.
then get with me later and we will talk about that. I will look for those notes. I have it somewhere. It's kind of like letting you know, depending on the item, how it sounds, to know how to answer it. Even if you know or you don't know the answer.
They didn't teach
how
me
you
that.
can discard certain, and it give you like a method.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
so
that's good.
besides the information that you know, it's good to always use the swags for board tests because they're systematic. They're already made in
Yeah.
a specific way. Okay, this is very theoretical. So if you know that, you have more chances to nail it. So for me, have always worked, and it worked. Again, I did the 1 week. For the cram, I remember being in that cram because this is back to back, everything back to back. I cried because that guy like bored me to death. Literally, I'm not kidding you. That cram, I one specific time, I was going through so much, and I was like,
It's a
"This guy is
lot.
stressing me out." I just,
It's a
it was
lot.
so
I
stressing.
just did another cram because I'm getting my license for life insurance. So I just took the cram because I'm supposed to take the test this week. But I thank you. But it was the same thing. It was like a 10-hour class and the
Yeah,
guy
it
is
was
just
so
reading
big.
questions and I'm like, my wrist was
Hurt, yeah.
hurting like bad.
And he was not.
I'm like,
engaging.
I'm like writing down everything he's
Because I went
saying.
in person for the 6 days, so going into online and boring and a person that just like.
And
so
they talk like
terrible
this
teacher,
and
for me,
yeah.
it was just so stressing, but still I made it, and I think that you should just.
Lead generation is your number one.
Sorry. Hold on. Malak, can you see my screen? Nobody wants to answer me today. Okay, she said yes.
One job. You have started by calling your mess your sphere of influence. You have even reached out via social media. But what do you do when you run out of contacts? Where can you find more leads? There are many places you can find additional prospecting opportunities. Think about your children's sporting events or activities. And don't forget about your own organizations and clubs. Your children's school or PTA would be an excellent source for contacts, as well as your place of worship. Even your mechanic, they rely on referrals for their business just like you do. Using these and other sources for prospecting opportunities will lead to more contacts and referrals that will grow your business. More contacts and referrals will lead to more appointments, listings, and closings. This will help you meet and exceed your goals.
Yay. Then. So it's pretty much what we've been talking about. Talking to everyone that you come in contact with. For me, it's I socialize a lot with the like people for my kids, like because they do sports, because they're in school. Now with COVID, it's been like a little harder because they were doing virtual, but just getting in front of these people and letting them know, like, even their friends, like, I have he has like 5 little close friends that come to the house. They are all their parents know. One is a realtor, so it doesn't help me. He's a realtor here actually, but but other than that, his other 4 friends, all their parents know I'm in real estate because they should know. They're like, oh, okay, hey, my their kid is coming over to my kid's birthday party. Oh, okay, yeah, this is me, my husband, whatever, whatever, like, oh, and we start talking. I ask them, oh yeah, oh, what do you guys do? Oh yeah, okay, I'm in real estate. So, if you know anybody, and it just comes up. Let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Cool. So I'll say where we're from and then you give directions. Is that all right? Hi, my name is Dylan Pravashe. I'm Sean Pravashe. We're from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. We're the real estate brothers. 2014, we wrote 72 transactions for $47 million. Sean and I are very lucky because we're actually fairly entrepreneurial in sales. So we were able to just sort of survive by luck and by just sort of being likable and nice. We had a decent business that wasn't growing. We did a lot of door knocking originally. But what we found was with bad weather, plus you have to drive to door knock, it was just too much of a wild card. If we were to grow the business, we needed to add people to our database. And if we were going to do that, we needed a systematic way that we knew we could achieve results that were predictable. So we just kind of started cold calling about 3 hours a day. And we found that the results were phenomenal. Come take a look where we be this whole time. You can literally do it. It's just more time effective. Yeah. If you're cheap like we are, you don't want to spend a ton of money on the web or in print. Telephone lines, pay a monthly bill and you can call all you want. Why don't you come here and trade the cold calling? We got a map and we broke the entire city into zone. We like to target areas where we have buyers. It's been scrubbed to the do not call list. It still represents over 250,000 phone numbers. All of our desks have 3 monitors. We have Mojo in the middle. We have our scripts on the right. And then on the left, do some research on the heads to call it for, stuff like that. Cold calling is like adding jet fuel to your car or something. It pumps your business up. We went from making, what was our first year, like 70K, and then this year together we have 1 million. So this is showing calling from the real estate brothers. You know what? I'm so sorry about you today, but I just noticed that you have to treat cold calling as though it's an appointment. If you don't prioritize it, things will always find their way in and block you from being able to do it. It's the most important thing to do for your business. Absolutely most important, and you have to quantify it as well. The bold 100 contacts a week is a really, really cool way to set a bar and get started and stick, whatever your decision. I was just wondering, is anything changing your plans? You still think this great and on money? You can't think today was a bad cold calling day because today doesn't matter. What matters is what you accomplish in a year. And if you just keep adding people to your database and systematically follow up with them and take care of the people who you work for, you'll do great. You're not always going to have great success every day, but it's by doing it every day that you have great success. We're going to be in the neighborhood for the next 2 weeks giving free evaluations. You know what I'd love to do? I'll say too that one thing that we were afraid of, and I think everyone is just the rejection side of things. People being mean to you on the phone and rude. We have the saying with our team that you're either part of our future or part of our past, and either way it's fine. The people who are rude to us are obviously not going to be part of our future. Have a chuckle about it. Like honestly, when someone passes at me or something, I just laugh. It's funny. You think that it might make sense for someone to weekend? The more time you spend not on the phone, you're losing money because that 3 hours of my day is my 20% where I make my money. Don't get ready to start thinking about how you're going to eventually do something. Just do it. Like just do it. Done. Stop watching this video. Get off your butt and go start down the numbers and talk to people. Just get on the phone. Yeah. And if you hate money, don't do it. Yeah.
So what were your ahas for you guys?
It doesn't matter what you get done today, what matters is what you get done later.
Yeah, so the more, it goes back to the funnel, the more numbers and names you're putting into your funnel, the more the numbers should add up. If you're doing it systematically and you're following up with these people, the funnel should get smaller, which is when you become them a contact, then you set them up for the appointment, then you're closing them. And that's how, so just putting as much leads as you can in that funnel. But preparing, like, set some time in your time blocking, prepare. Like one of the agents here, he used to always sit in the back. Now he has like an office here, but he does something, and I saw it, and I actually have it at home. He bought like this board, like, the projects that people used to have like in middle, and like the science projects, like the 3-ply or whatever. He has that, and then he pasted like all his scripts there. So he has FSBO, expires, circle prospecting. So he has those little like see-through inserters. He pasted it against the wall, and then when he calls his FSBOs, he has all his scripts for his FSBOs. So his scripts are going to include his objections and stuff. So that's a good way to get prepared. So I really like that, and I have to see things like in front of me. So one thing that I noticed that I was doing, I was taking so much time to prepare every time when I could just have like, a system where it's done for me. So I really like that idea of him. Um, and there's a lot of different scripts. So I got some from here. There's like this big binder in the training room where there's like a lot of scripts. So I took some of those. I go to Mike Ferry and they have scripts too. A lot of the trainings that they do here, they'll email, like if you attend the classes, they'll email you scripts. So it's just like different approaches. And I just saw what matches better for my personality. So if I was to call expireds, that's what I would, I want to call FISBOs because I have heard a lot of good things about it. I haven't yet, but in my board, I have FISBO scripts because that is one of my goals. And what I'm starting to do is I'm time blocking aside from my lead generation, because my lead generation mostly includes like my sphere of influence and my social media. But aside from that, I do want to dedicate like an hour where I just go for expireds and FISBOs. And I do it mostly because it does make me uncomfortable. So I want to break through that, because if I'm in my comfort zone all the time, then I'm not growing, So I have to put myself in uncomfortable situations and have these conversations. Because even if that's not my niche, like at least I know the objections I'm getting and I know how to tackle them. Because I come and I brainstorm and and I'll talk to, I'm like, I should have said that. And I don't, but
Do you lock yourself like in a separate room, or do you guys like just knock it all together in the same room? Because I feel like that the
So
chatter
what?
from other people is like distracting,
Yes. For example, like when I'm in the training room, it's really hard to do my calls there. I need to be like in a little thing, like by myself. So I have an office here, but I have my two partners in there with me, and it's very small. So I don't like to do it there either. So I'm like, okay, where am I going to go to make my calls? So I have a home office in my house. However, with my kids there, it's kind of hard because I have a 3-year-old and he's like always, so what I'm trying to do now, I'm trying to do like this door where I can put the current inside versus outside, because if he sees me there, then it's done. But if he doesn't know I'm there, then I can do my calls. So I'm trying to hide from my kid. But yes, that's a big problem with me. And especially because everybody back there starts talking. Sometimes they'll start script practicing, they'll start singing, and it's very distracting to do my calls. I can't do it there.
Setting up my house, like I just moved last weekend, so one thing that I'm doing is trying to set up a desk and all that stuff, and I'm trying to do like a little office setup. That way I can go in there and do my calls and pretty much get
And having
get
all the
done.
materials, all the stuff, like like yesterday
I
was
was thinking of getting a board, like those bulletin boards,
uh-huh.
and that way I can put tags, like the script can be there, like the calendar can be there.
Yeah.
And like notes can be there. Like that's what I'm going to go get. It's just I have all this idea, so this weekend and all that stuff, that's what I'm trying to do. Set up so I have things in my place.
Yeah, and it's easier to do it like even if you're taking a whole day to do your setup, it's easier to do it that than being at the place and be like, oh my God, I need this. And then like for me, if all the stars aren't aligned, it throws me off. So like if I could sit down, I'm like, okay, I prepared everything, and then now I'm hungry. So I have to like set up. And it's funny because they said that in Bold yesterday, they were like, have your water, have your snacks, have everything you need before you go into it. Because once you feel prepared, you're more focused. So that for me was a big aha. Okay, so let's go to page 24. Okay, so solid preparation is the foundation of any successful prospecting. Plan to spend approximately 30 minutes getting ready. So what I started doing, because I heard it in Bold yesterday, but I have heard it from other people that have taken Bold before, is they were like, do your time blocking schedule, like take, an hour or whatever you need on Sunday and plan for the week. So you know what your schedule looks like. So I'm a very, like, I have to write everything down. Jason is more like of a technology person. So he is like, no, do the Google Calendar. I do both because the Google Calendar sends me reminders and everything, but I have to see it on paper. I have to see my schedule like on paper. So I write it down and then I just put my schedule on Google Calendar, and then I just have both of them to just look back at. But I started doing that, and that has helped me a lot because now I know, okay, I have an appointment, because before I would be like, oh yeah, I have a showing on Wednesday at 3, but then I would forget and somebody would call me and tell me, oh, I'm available at 3. I'll be like, oh yeah, I can take it. And I was like, I'm double booking. So I had to move people around. So if you know that ahead of time and you're now, if you don't have an appointment, they just come after, just write it down, have it on your schedule. Like from 3 to 5 is when I have like my appointment open. So if I have to do showings or anything, I'll try to schedule it within that time. I have people that work till 5. So obviously that throws me off a little bit, but it's fine because I mean, I don't have a choice. But ideally what I try to do is my showings and my appointments between 3 and 5, because that's how it is on my schedule. If I have to do it at 6 one day, then I'll just move some things around, whatever I had at 6, and I'll move it around for that day. But normally I try to, you try to follow it as much as you can, but you're going to have the exception that can only see it on weekends or can only see it after 5 or whatnot. So it's just, it depends how your schedule is and who are the people you're working with. So here, effectively for 30 minutes. Okay, so number 1, prep call list. Generate a list of names, phone numbers, and pertinent info. So aside from getting prepared and like having your snacks and having your drinks and having all your scripts and everything, you want to have the list that you're going to call like in front of you. Like that's part of your preparation. You want to make sure if it's physicals, you have your physical list in front of you with the notes that you're going to take, or have your laptop there with commands open. So when you're calling them, and if you are adding them to your database, you're writing notes about the conversations you're having. If you want to do it on paper and then pass it, whatever is your style, but just make sure you're writing notes and you're knowing these conversations. So here it says, generate a list of name, phone numbers, and put information. Referrals sphere. Who is due for a call? For sale by owners, physicals, leads from signs or website, rehearsed scripts. I'm sorry, not that. Neighbors or just listed, just sold, expired or withdrawn listings, allied sources, any past clients. If you guys are working with buyers right now, and since it's a seller's market, there's no inventory and everything, getting creative is also a value that you can bring to your, like, we just had a client, we haven't been successful in finding him anything, and I had like an aha moment, and I was like, wait, why don't we look at temporary off-market properties? Like, let's just see. Sure enough, the people, I called the agent and I'm like, oh, I noticed you had this listing. It's like a perfect fit for my client. Why did you take it off? And he told me, he's like, oh, I took it off because it's tenant occupied and the tenants are giving me a hard time to show it. They're not letting me show it. And I told him, I was like, if you had a contract at hand, would it be easier? And he's like, yeah. So we gave him a contract. He accepted the contract and we were on the contract. It didn't appraise, so we fell out of contract, but that was a way to get in there and maybe calling those temporary off markets and asking them, hey, if I had a buyer right now for you and I had a contract in hand, can you entertain my offer? And then maybe you're not in this multiple offer situation. So that was a big aha for me. And they were like, how did you think of that? I'm like, I don't even know. I think I don't even think I thought of it, honestly, like, to be completely sincere. They think I did, but I really didn't. Yeah, I was like, now that I'm saying it out loud, but because the property was active and my client saw it when it was active. However, when he wanted to go see it, it became temporary off market. But then they were like, oh, you did great. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't really do that. But that is a good way. So now I have another client and I actually am doing that. So
how does the contract help you to be able to go get secure showing compared to like landlord? You know what I'm saying?
it doesn't, but for example, if I have a difficult tenant and they don't want to show the property and I'm just putting a whole bunch of people in the house for them and maybe nothing comes out of it, like it's just, it creates dilemma, I guess, between the tenant and the owner, you know? So he's like, oh, you have all these people inside my house. Now, if he's like, okay, I have a serious buyer, we're actually going under contract with them. This is going to be your new landlord. We're still going to respect your lease, but I have a contract already. Like, you're just going to let this one person in. So then maybe the tenants were more open to that. So we got to see the property, we did the inspection, and then, you know, they were kind of like a little irritated. They didn't want to, but at the end of the day, like, you know, we told them, we're like, he's willing, you know, he's going to respect your lease. So just finish your lease. You're just going to pay the new owner. And so they were okay with that. So that's usually, I think, what happens. The landlord doesn't want to keep calling and be like, oh, I'm going to have an open house between 3 and 5. A whole bunch of random people are going to come in your house. Yeah. The tenants are not really, you know, they don't care. Okay. So are you guys doing script practicing in the mornings? Every morning? Yeah, good. I need to get better at that. I'm actually going to join Christina starting today's Friday, so not starting Monday. but I am gonna join her. I think it's great that she's doing that. We didn't used to have that before, like before Christina was productivity mesh. I think she's done like a lot of great things. So I really want to like go into that, and I think she's an awesome coach. So she the script practice will help you, and it'll help you like even talking or hearing other people's perspective or other people's experience, and you'll see different personalities, and based on your personality and their how they're handling it and how they went for them versus how it can go for you. So I'm more of a like I'm kind of like nonchalant. So I'm very like I'll talk to like any kind of person. I don't really have like, oh no, I don't like them, they're too dull, they're too, but it just depends on like your comfort level, like how you wanna come out and how you wanna internalize these scripts to make them more like you.
And sorry.
Yeah.
How, I want to ask you, how did you find your specialty per se? And like that you're mentioning that you work with rentals. So how did you like realize that that's what you wanted to mainly focus on?
Well, I don't do rentals anymore.
Oh.
No. At the beginning, because when you get licensed, usually that's what comes first. Rentals. They're just easier to get. They're not a lot of money, but then at the beginning, I was like, you're new, so I take any kind of business. I was sometimes I wasn't even screening them before I was going out with these people, so I was completely handling it wrong, and that's how I was able to like be like, okay. Once I started seeing the difference in the money aspect between dealing with buyers and tenants, not that I don't, I still deal with tenants. I'm actually doing a rental right now for my brother, but not that I don't do it anymore, but I do want to focus more on buyers, and because you make more money, you're never going to cap if you just focus on rentals. So it's not that you shouldn't focus on rentals, because rentals can become buyers. I have my first rental that I did. Her lease is about to expire, and she was ready to buy last year, but her credit was bad. That's the only thing that she had. She had like a 528. She had the money, bless you. She had the income. Her husband had the income, but they didn't have the credit. Bless you. They did credit fix since last year, and now they still have the money. They have the jobs. And now they're ready to buy. So I have still kept contact. When we closed on her rental, I sent her a thank you card. I call her. She has sent me another rental that I've done. So it's like, don't lose touch with them just because they're rentals, but your focus should be buyers and listings, especially listings, or even rental listings if that's what you want to focus on, because you'll get more rental lists. We had a rental listing, and I got like 5 rentals from that. So it is easy money, it's faster money. However, there's no lender involved. So you're kind of like the lender in the form that you're pre-approving them to see their score, you're seeing their income, you're seeing if they have their pay stubs. Now, if you're calling them and you're asking them for all these documents and they're not giving it to you, and you're taking them out to see properties, by the time they come back and they send you out, the property's gone. So don't do that. That's what I did, and I drove around for nothing, honestly. But I learned the hard way. But if you're asking them for these, the first thing I do whenever I talk to any rental, we have like a list. So it's like a list of all the required documents and everything. So as soon as I'm like, oh, okay, so what area, I get like what they're looking for or whatever. And then I tell them, okay, I'm gonna send you a list of all before we can go out to see properties. And they're like, oh, okay, but can you send me properties in the meantime? I'm like, yes, I'll open up a search for you. And based on what you're telling me and your budget, and then I'm like, and because if you go to the MLS, there's like a little heart. So when you send them the link, they can like double tap if they like it, if they don't, and you get a notification of that. Or I can do I put them like on an automatic search. So as soon as something hits the market with that criteria, it sends it to me. I look at it. If it's what we talked about, there's also a comment thing. So if they favorite something, I'll be like, what did you like about this property? And then now I know, where their mind is, because if it doesn't work for that one, I know how to search for them better. But now I don't, unless they send me all the documents, I don't take them to go see properties, because
Other advice, like I've noticed, like if the last time we documents, like I'll set up for searches, but I won't schedule the showing until I get the documents.
No, yeah, I won't go on. And I tell them, I'm like, look, the problem is that by the time we come back to the office, that the property's gone. Like I need to have your file with everything that I need, because this is what the agents are asking. And sometimes I even tell them, I'm like, they're not even letting me without the documents.
My other question though, this is I'm dealing with like 3 of them right now.
Mhm.
One question was, how persistent are you like going after the agents for the showings? Because like sometimes like, oh, I'll let you know, and then it's like 3 text messages, 2 emails later. A phone
What do
call,
you mean?
no
Are you
response.
using showing time?
No, like all these properties don't have a showing time.
Oh, they have like call the listing agent. Well, sometimes it's bad because sometimes they won't even respond to me.
I mean, and they got 917 number, so like I feel that's coming into play too. Like you see, like out of state, like
Oh, you have a 917?
yeah,
I tried texting them, even I've even tried calling their brokerage. That has worked.
okay,
That has worked because they have like their office number there. So I'll call the brokerage. I'll be like, oh, does so and so work here? I'll be like, oh, I'm trying to see one of their lists, and they will actually reach out to that person. Now, if they still don't answer, there is like MLS fines for that now. They're supposed to answer us
okay,
because a lot of agents, like on the buyer side, on the rental side, they're complaining. They're like, look, we're reaching out to these agents and they're not responsive. So now, if it shows active and they're not allowing you to see it, they can get fined for it.
cool.
So I tried emailing them. Now I started calling their brokerage. That has gotten them to call me back. If they don't, I report.
And then I'm sorry, the last
Mhm.
question. I have one tenant. Like I told him all my listings, and then he's texting like, hey, do you know anything about this luxury property downtown? But it's like a sales office, so like, am I still able to?
You would have to call the building directly
Uh,
and ask them, do you guys deal with realtors? Some of them don't.
So if they don't, I was like, yeah, this was on your own. Like,
You would kind of lose it because they're not going to pay you a commission. Because remember, they're kind of the listing agent. So if they're now in that same building, there might be some owner that you can maybe like, ask them, hey, like, are you looking to rent? Or maybe they're trying to like for sale, for rent on their own, maybe reaching out to them like that. But other than that, if it's a sales office and they don't work with realtors, no. I've had people that they wanted to rent in so-and-so building. I called the place and they're like, no, we don't deal with realtors. I mean, they're not gonna pay us. So if they go there, usually I'm trying to help them, but I'm like, yeah, you just have to, they have a sales office, you have to go there in person and, like do it yourself. And then, but I would look, what do you like about this? Because maybe you can find them something similar that, you can get a commission.
it's hard to see, it's like brand new, it's like in this price range, everything else is like shoddy little
Oh.
places, so it's kind of hard to do that.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I would do. I would just call them directly and be like, I have somebody, I'm a realtor. Do you guys work with realtors? If they don't, then. Okay. So it says formal script practice is a daily activity you should be doing with a script partner or as part of a team prior to your preparation time. Do you guys have like a script partner, or do you guys just go to script practice and just do it with whoever's there? Or do you guys have somebody that like?
I'll link up with Malak.
Okay.
Or Nelson is usually here.
Okay.
Gene's been great helping me with Spanish, like finding.
You speak Spanish?
I do, but like I'm not familiar with like the real estate
Script.
Spanish.
Yeah.
So like he's been helping. I learned realtors, gente de bienes y raíces.
Yeah.
Like,
Where are you from?
From New York.
But.
Spain.
Okay.
But like, there's words I don't know, like listing in Spanish. I'm still trying to figure it out. Marketing.
I had a lot of problem. I had a lot of problem with that because I speak fluent Spanish, but I didn't know how to have like a real estate conversation in Spanish like that. And when I called expireds, it seemed like everybody spoke Spanish. So what I started, I bought this script book on Amazon. And what I started doing is in the scripts, I put like the Post-it notes and I just translated like the thing. So when I have a Spanish person, I know how to like deal with it because it was different. It was, and I'm very fluent in Spanish, but it's like a different language. So it was harder for me too. What I did too, when I joined, it was only like 4 of us. Dario was one of them. This guy Andres and this girl Kristen. She's in the crime group now. But so it was only like the 4 of us. Kristen was like pregnant at the time, so she wasn't involved. But like me, Dario, and Andres, we would like get together a lot and do. But me and Andres actually became like script partners a lot. So we time blocked every day, like at 12, we would like script practice, and that was good because he would call me, and it was like an hour of like half an hour you, half an hour me, and we would like tackle each other. And that was really, it's good because it's somebody holding you accountable to doing that activity. If you were like having an off day, he was like, no, like we have to do this. It's 1 hour, just get it together, let's do it. And vice versa. So having someone to hold you accountable, it's important. Let me see. Say affirmations, focus on your big why, and keep your eye on the goals. So before I joined Keller Williams, like Keller Williams has been like a hurt in my life because I was never like an affirmation person, like ever. Me even saying it, I'll be like, oh my God, I'm so sick. But now that I do it and I like live by it every day, it has helped me like in my personal life and in my business and everything. It has helped me tremendously to like do positive affirmations, because it's so easy to talk yourself down from things that when you say it into existence and you say it, and it's like so funny, like what you feed your mind becomes a reality. So when you say like, oh my God, I'm bad at this, I'm bad at, you're gonna start believing you're bad at it, and eventually you are gonna be bad at it. But vice versa. Like my son, I have an 11-year-old and he's very shy. He's always been shy. Like now he's actually more like outgoing. So since I've gotten like in this affirmation journey, I gave him like affirmations. So I have like a little post-it note in the bathroom. So when he brushes his teeth, so yesterday I go to him, Angel, are you like reading this like just to read? He's like, no, mom, I feel it in my soul when I say it. And I'm like, okay, you do not feel it in your, but he made me laugh. But he was like, no, he's like, when I say it, I'm believing what I'm saying. Like it said something like, I laugh embarrassment off easily and it comes easy. So I don't know. I wrote it down, but and then I was like, but don't just say it, like don't just read it, like actually internalize. And he's like, I feel it, mom. I feel it in my soul. And I'm like, okay, that's good enough for me.
I had a coworker that she has two girls, but the oldest is like 4 or 5. No, sorry, 5 or 6. And she would tell it's hilarious, but she would tell me that on the car ride like to her school, she'd be like, Lani, you're a rock star, mama. She's like, no, rock star. You're gonna get.
And I wish like my parents would have done that when I was little, because it's all like you're a thing of your surrounding. Like you are literally what your environment and everything. And I'm trying to like now I'm like, okay, he's so like little still, he's developing, that if I develop him and like, you know, really like shape up his mind, he's gonna like grow with those habits, you know, and like not learning them later on in life, better like learning them when he's young. You're embarrassed. And I told him like, why are you embarrassed? Like he liked this little girl last year. And then right before COVID, he was like, he goes to me, that's it, I'm gonna tell her I like her. And then he did not sleep the whole night. And he goes to me, I'm so nervous. And then I'm like, Angel, relax. Like it's not the end of the world. It was like Friday. So it was like the whole weekend. He was so stressed out that he was gonna tell her on Monday. And then they made the announcement that the schools were closed. So he comes into the room and he's so pissed. And he's like, great, she's never gonna know I like her now. She was like, they closed the schools down. And then I'm like, okay, it's not the end of the world. So just getting him to that point was hard. But now that he was actually, then the pandemic happened. So he was like super bummed out. Point of the story is I'm just trying to shape him now, because affirmations have been really helpful for me. And I feel like if I can like internalize them in him at such a young age, it'll be beneficial for him when he's older.
He will bounce back, and I say because my girls are 10 and 13, and the things that you do as they're very little, that you're saying those things that you're a rock star, you this, you that, like, and you encourage them like that. Now it's my kids that do it to me. Like they're like from the middle of nowhere. It's like my mom is really strong, and they brag about me in a way that I feel. I don't even.
You're like, thank you.
It's like, oh my
You're
God,
like, I am.
Tell me that high, like girl, like feel. So they tell me
Because
so,
they're born with no fear. They're no nothing.
like,
And
my
that's how
mom
really
independent,
beneficial.
and I'm
Like
I don't even say those things, but that's the way that they look at me.
Mhm.
I never say I'm an independent woman, but the way that they look at me as like, I guess a boss lady, I don't know. They just like, feel that way, and they kind of like make me feel even better. Like when I feel like a day that I'm not doing that well, all of a sudden my kids are like pushing me up. So
Yeah.
they're like the best cheerleader. Once I was their cheerleader.
yeah,
See? And now we bounce back and it makes me feel so much better.
that's good. Yeah. Okay, let me see here. Okay. So obviously we can have all these things in place, but if we don't take action, like nothing happens, right? Like we can say, like we can be prepared with all our scripts, we know what to say and everything, but if we don't make those calls, like nothing's gonna happen, right? So prospecting time, approximately 2 hours of the 3 to 3 is spent making connections, building relationships, and asking for business. So I had, before I joined Keller Williams, I was looking at like YouTube videos or whatever, and one of the guys was like, if you're a beginning agent, to do lead generation for 7 hours. I'm like, no, wait, was it 7 hours? No, it was actually 12 hours. He said to do it from 7 to 7. he's like your first night, he's like, and you will see, it's a lot. And I mean, I never did that, honestly. It's a lot, but he grew his business. Like in 1 year, he was like super like the rock star. And he's like, look, the first 2,000 calls I made were nothing. He's like, but it broke me. Like it, because the first call that you make, at least for me, like it hurts, you know? And after that, and it's the same thing with the first house. I'm like, well, once I knock, that's it. You get that momentum going and that's it. Like it's just like a walk in the park after. Yes, are you gonna get told off? Yeah. I used to, when I joined, I would sit in the front and do floor time. They don't have it anymore, but they used to have floor time where they would let you sit in the front. You had to take the calls or whatever that came in, but any leads, because they would throw ads that came in during the shift that you were doing floor time, they would give them to you. So I got some leads like that. And when I would sit there, our other team leader, this guy Mark, he would make his cold calls too, but he was prospecting agents like to come join Keller Williams. And I heard that guy get told off so many times. And it was like he hung up and then he'd be like, next, like it didn't even phase him. I was like cringing for him because they would be like, you're so annoying, Mark. You call me every week. I don't want to be in Keller Williams. I hate Keller Williams. Your split sucks. Like telling him off. And then he's like, can you stop? He's like, why don't you stop calling me? And he's like, you know why I don't stop calling you? He was like, because I am a top agent. I'm $1 million producer. And he was like, but you know, if you don't want to come here, then that's fine. I'll take you off or whatever. And he was just like, hey, I do this because it's my job. Like, you know, it's my job to call you and try to get you in. If you don't want to, that's fine. He's like, but I don't stop because it's gotten me results. I mean, not from you, but it's gotten me results. So he just had a different mindset and a different mentality. And I'm like, it's true. Like you're doing this because it is your job. He had no personal feelings attached. Yeah.
That's when you normally get like, no.
Yeah, if you have this person telling you, you're so annoying, Mark, you call me every week, you know, he was like, okay. And I literally would hear him hang up and pick up the phone. Hey, how are you? It's Mark. And I'm like crying for him. I'm like, but it was awesome to see him like just bounce back from that. And don't attach your feelings. They're going to tell you off. Like they're going to tell you, don't call me again. You're so annoying. No, I don't want to listen, because you're not the only agent calling them. And they haven't invited you to call them. You're calling them because you're cold calling. So don't feel offended if they're treating you a certain way, because, you know, they never told you, hey, call me at this time and I'll cut your call.
But they might go and research and then call you back, because that have happened too, like, at least my experience. At first, people treat you like crap, you know, and then they do get curious. They do get curious.
They do.
They look it up and all that stuff, and then they're the ones like reaching back. Hey, I know you call me, and they kind of calm down.
And I've had people that have
On that.
been rude to me, and then they're like, oh, maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe they just got in a fight with their husband. Like, you don't know what's going on in their personal life. You're calling them randomly.
They might be going in the bathroom.
They were maybe, they just pee their hands. You don't know what's going on in their life. So at that moment, maybe they had something going on. Doesn't mean that they don't want to sell their house anymore. It just means that you called them at a bad time. So don't ever let that be something that stops you from calling them again. Be like, oh my God, this lady hated me. No, she didn't hate you. She was just having a bad day. Now, if you call her 5 times often, she's probably a bitter lady, and maybe you don't want to call them, because at that same time, like, yeah, you want the business and everything, but you don't want to do business with somebody that doesn't want to do business with you, because that's not going to be like a good connection. It's going to be a bad experience for everyone involved. So, all right. So it's prospecting time. Approximately 2 hours, 3 is spent making connections. Okay. Get out your database or call list and start calling. Update your database with each call. It is important to get the details while they are fresh in your head. So when you're calling them, what I do is when I make my calls, I always have command open. So if I'm calling my database and I'm calling somebody there, I have that person contact open and I have notes open. So it says call, text, like what did I do? If I call them, I'll put call, and then I'll roll, oh, we talked about this, this, and this. They told me they were going out of town, that they'll be back. I write everything we had talked to, because it's fresh in my head, and I want to make sure that I'm getting everything we spoke about. So when we talk again, I'm not asking the same questions. Like, oh, what's your daughter's name again? You'd be like, oh, I told you last time, you know? So yeah, do that. Let's see. Okay. Approximately 30 minutes of your daily 3-3 is spent wrapping up your lead generation with methodical, I don't know how to say it, follow-up. Finish entering results into your database, write follow-up notes, track your results, schedule and calendar follow-up, fulfill promises such as sending any information they requested. So if you go to command, there's also tasks there. Like there's a button for tasks. So if you program it, and for example, if you call this person and they told you, oh, follow up with me in a week, like you have, somebody said that call me in a week. I think it was Malak, she left. So if that person's telling you call them back in a week, you want to put a task on there so you don't forget, because you're gonna forget. And put a task. Oh, okay, Robert told me call me in a week. So it'll tell you, okay, send reminder the day before or send a reminder that day. So now you're getting that when you open your command, you're getting that reminder that you have a task that you have to complete. You have to go call this person at 3 o'clock because that was your follow-up date. So put those tasks in command so you are like systematically following up with these people. And if you're telling them you're going to send them properties because they're expecting that. So prospecting sources, door knocking, geographical farming, for sale by owners, expired or withdrawn listings, open houses, agent referrals, social media. Have you guys done open houses? No, you haven't done open houses.
Sunday, I want to go to my, most likely to my first open house, like not mine.
Mhm.
I want to start going to other people's open house.
Like to help them or to like look?
Just to look, take videos, just create interest for.
Yeah, and you can create videos too, like
That's
when
what
you're
I'm
doing,
saying,
yeah.
I create
And
that
see
for-
what they're saying, what works, what you like about, you know, about their setup or how they're
Get
doing
buyers,
it. Yeah.
in other words. I want to try to get buyers for that property or any other property.
Yeah, because we do that a lot. Like a lot of almost all of the properties we get, we do open houses for them, and you know, it's a way that we get buyers because a lot of these buyers are coming in without agents. If you are coming to the office a lot, make connections with other agents because maybe they have a listing, and if they're like top producers, they don't have time to do open houses. Like tell them, hey, can I do an open house for your property? You know, and if they're okay with it, then okay, be like, this is what I'm gonna do. This is my script. This is everything. And last month they had a open house class. This lady, she's a top agent. She actually started her business with door knocking, but she does a lot of open houses. And she set up a table and like little things that she does on her open house. And I liked it. I was telling Jason, I'm like about the things that we should do. We do like a red carpet open house. So every open house that we have like a red carpet and we have like little things. So everybody, it's kind of like a red carpet event that we have for open houses. It's just something we do. We try to like knit little things that we should add or not take out. So I really like the table because in the table she has a flyer with information about the property. She has Jesus' information if they need like a lender or whatever. But when we have an open house, I'll usually door knock like the day or 2 days before. So I'm inviting all the neighbors to come out. So some of those people are coming out just to be nosy, and some of them maybe their families want to go, maybe want to live in the area or whatever. So I'm telling them, hey, look, we're having an open house. We're selling this house. And then they're telling me, oh my God, their house is selling for that much, and it doesn't have a pool. My house has a pool. How much will my house sell? I'm like, oh, I would love to tell you more. Like, you know, and now you're connecting with them. Now you're, because they don't know how much your neighbor planned to sell his house for, and they didn't think that it could sell for that much. And now you're listing it at 520, and they thought maybe their house was worth 300. So now you're educating them, and you're inviting them. And sometimes if they know somebody that wants to live in it, those people are probably coming not qualified, but it's a buyer that you're getting for you. So usually what I'll do is when they come into the open house, I have the Go MLS app. So in the Go MLS, I'll pull up the address of the property we're in, and then I'll be like, oh, can I send you more, like all the details of this property? And they'll be like, yeah. So I'll get their phone number. So they'll give me their number, I'll get their name, their phone number, and then I'll send them the link with the property. And then I'm like, oh, is this like the area that you're looking for or whatever? I'll be like, oh, I would love to send you more information. Can I get like your email address? And usually they'll give it to me. So now I have their email, I have their phone number, and I have their name. So I'll call them and I'll be like, hey, so how was the open house? What did you like about it? What did you like about it? Is this the area that you're looking for? Can I send you more similar? And I'll just open up a search for them and I'll send them like similar properties in the same price range. And if they have it, a lot of the ones that I've gotten have been qualified, but they didn't come with an agent. So they were like, oh no. And some of them don't even know that working with an agent as a buyer, they don't have to pay. I had a lady, she didn't want to work with me. And I kept calling her and then she finally called me back. She's like, Luz, I don't want to be rude. She was like, it's just that like, we're trying to save this much money. So we don't want to pay a commission. And I was like, oh, did you know that, working with me, like you don't pay me anything. Like we do get paid, but we get paid by the seller. So there's really no cost to you to use someone to, help you. And then she's like, I did not know that. She was like, well, in that case, and she was like, then she sent me like 1,000 properties. But they just don't know. Some of them will know more than others, but they don't know everything. Like this isn't their career. They know what their friends have told them, their experiences, but every house is different. Every transaction will be different. So just yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You're welcome. Nice to meet you. What was your name? Victoria. Nice to meet you. All right.
Luz can ask, there's an exam at the end of this, right?
Not today.
No, but
At the end of the night, yeah.
Do you know what it's based on? Is it like just office material or?
So it's for your continuing education. Yeah. So it's really easy. I was because I'm a horrible test taker.
I already have my continuing education,
The 45. Oh, the
Yeah, I
post.
already
You already did it.
yes.
Yeah. So you can attend this to like help you. Like when I did it, I took Ignite twice. The first time I took it, they didn't offer the post. So I went and bought the post. And then I realized that I was never gonna finish it. So I came to Ignite and I did it. And the test is super easy. Like it's like common sense questions.
Okay.
Like I'm a horrible test taker. I failed the test. Like I'm a horrible test taker. And it was really easy. It was really easy. I can't remember what it was about, but it's like a lot of the things that you'll see here, like the prospecting and like it'll come into place. But
Okay,
it's like
so like
more
how to
common
generate-
sense, not like something that you have to know.
Okay.
Like it'll tell you like, oh, what's the one activity that you should be doing? Lead generation. Like, it's common sense like that.
Okay, thank you.
No worries. Okay. So if we go to page 26, says prospecting sources. So again, okay, so with the agent referrals in bold, or if you go to the KW Connect on Facebook, you can connect with all these different agents from everywhere. And if it's like a New York agent and they have customers that are moving, you can connect with those agents. In bold was, I know when they go in person, I know that they like Jason and Michelle, they get a lot of referrals from people that they've met at bold that they connected with in there. So I know that the board has like a lot of like happy hour networking events. And you might think like, well, why am I going to go with my competition? But that competition may necessarily not want to come to Kendall. Maybe they live in Brickell and they just do business over there. So they want to refer that business out. They still want to get something, but 30% of something is better than nothing, So connecting with these agents, I go on the board a lot, and I did see that they had like a Spanish networking agent event, like this Latin place or whatever. Then they had another one, I think it was yesterday, another like networking for realtor events. So like, I mean, it's $10, you go, you mingle, and you can connect with these people so they can give you like referrals, if they like you, they might be like, oh, I have a customer that you would fit perfect with. Now they're giving you that referral. So having those people, and even people here, some of the top agents, they don't want to do referrals. So I mean, they're not referrals. They don't want to do rentals. So maybe that's a way like for anybody.
Noticed I've been picking up those, so.
A lot of the agents don't want to focus like with buyers or listings, or maybe just listings, depending like where. So they'll be like, oh, yeah, I don't want to. Like Bashi, he's relatively new, but he doesn't want to do rentals. He gave me like a rental. I followed up with him, and one was actually wanted to buy. So it's like, I mean, I haven't closed anything, but I'm nurturing them. And social media, again, social media keeps coming up. I think it's like the easiest free thing that you can do, especially as a new agent, that is not gonna like break the bank. Okay, so door knocking, my favorite. Door knocking in a neighborhood, also known as targeted geographic farm. To promote your business means talking with prospective clients, and it's a great way to promote your upcoming open house. So one of the things I haven't done, and I think it's because I feel like my neighbors don't like me. I don't know why, but it's door knocking, like the area where you live, like just letting them know, hey, I live right here. Like if you have any real estate needs, like I'm here, or if you want to know what your house is worth, I can always help you. So I haven't done that, but I did do door tags, and I put them around like my whole neighborhood. And it said like pretty much, I'm not just your neighbor, I'm also a realtor. And then it had like my business card, and I attached it, and I went around all the houses and I put that in there. So that was like a way for me to get out there, because now they know like, oh, and now the other thing that I want to do is I actually want to take a picture of myself in front of my house. So, my neighbors, like my immediate neighbors that are passing by there, I can then make it into like a postcard and be like, hey, I'm your neighbor, like 2 houses down or whatever. And like, are you wondering what your house is worth? And then give them out to everybody in my, because I live in a community, but within a community. So in my place alone, there's like 80 houses. So I want to do that with the immediate people that live inside my community, because now they're seeing like the model of my house. They're like, oh yeah, this house is over there. I pass by there, I see her car, it has her magnet. I just never really stopped to see, oh, but she's a realtor. Yeah, she can help us sell our house. She's our neighbor. We can trust her, type of thing. They don't know me, but they know I live in the area.
Have you tried like a block party too?
Huh?
Have you tried like a block
I
party?
haven't.
I know it's a little bit more expensive. but
How is that?
Because like my neighbors have done it before, and like this is all mingle and like they'll come together. Like I've always kind of avoided it, but I see them like a lot of other neighbors that from down the street that you always
I've
drive by,
seen
you never
that.
talk to.
The only thing that I because I live in a community, so I don't know if they'll let me do that.
No, I mean, just,
You
like,
think
growing
so?
up, just like we have a community, so we gotta enjoy it and all that too.
Maybe I could just put like a table outside, right?
Split table, little grill, and just grill some burgers. People will show up.
I like that idea.
Some sodas, some waters.
You see, I love like this
You got,
because
a
it's like a
basketball
mastermind.
hoop, have the kids start playing basketball outside, and like other kids will come. The parents will go, where you live? Over there. Oh, they got burgers. Okay. So.
Oh, that's a good thing, because I have like a table. I can put like a table, and then I can borrow like the Keller Williams like thing, and then just put out flyers. That's actually a really good idea.
Let me know. I got like two in my garage at home.
Thank you. No, that's a really good idea. Like every time like you talk to like different people, like everybody's idea just comes in, and I mean that's something I would do.
So
Like,
you really just like the fence is like down, and you have to like. hang
yeah,
out,
here
right?
it's like we're not like, yeah, there is real estate. However, come eat a burger. Like, that's a good idea. I like that. Okay, let me see here. Don't be pushy. Come from contribution and let people know what is happening in the area. So I have gotten people like that knock on your door, like Bell South, or now Bell South, because where I live, only Comcast would come here. So but now Bell South, no, not Bell South, AT&T. So we actually switched over, and the guy that came, like I let him in my house and everything, because he wasn't like being super pushy. Like I was like, oh, come inside. And I was like, and then now I think about it, I'm like, this guy could have killed me. I'm like inside, like I'm a single mom, not a single mom, but I'm like alone with my kids at the house. I'm like, why did I let him in? But he was just so like genuine. He was like, hey, just so you know, he's like, we're like, I just, did this business with your neighbors. And I'm like, and we're just sharing information. If it works out for you, great. Like, we have this, and this. And he explained something about Comcast that he said, oh, everybody here is sharing something, but you would get your, I don't know. It didn't make sense to me. I mean, it did when he said it, but now that I say it, doesn't make sense. But the way he brought value to me, he told me, hey, this is what Comcast does, and this is what we're going to do different, so you can have better internet, because our internet, like that was the problem. It sucked. So then I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, yeah, my internet does suck. Like, and then now he's telling me, so he came from a place of contribution. He didn't tell me, hey, you have to buy this. He just told me, hey, this is what they do. This is what we're going to do different. So it can be of value to you. And it's actually cheaper. So I was like, okay, I'm like, come inside. Like, tell me more, So now,
How's the actual service? Is it better? Or?
I can't say it's better. If anything, it's the same. My mom says it's worse. My husband says it's better. Honestly, I think it's the same. I have problems with it. I hated Comcast, but I don't think I love AT&T either. So it's kind of like,
Yeah, I just got Comcast.
I just feel with them, like they always change your bill.
Yeah.
You have to call, and then to get them on the phone, it's like 2 hours. I don't have patience for that. I'll be like, I'll pay it. I don't care. I'll pay it. I don't want to.
I got like internet only. I didn't do anything else other than internet so far, because that's right now. But I
There's
noticed
feature like
that.
that because those
Yeah,
are gonna get
because,
you the
when I try to do TV, the bundle, I remember that they say that this is the price, and then they want to add, at the end, add $70, like forcefully for some channels that are like supposed to be like, I don't know, like the news channel or the ones that you're supposed to have. I'm like, either you give me a deal or you're not giving me a deal. I mean,
Yeah.
that doesn't make sense.
And then
So
they'll
I
change
deleted
it.
that. I deleted that. 'cause
They're like,
I
oh, that's a
don't-
promotion. It was only
don't
good.
even watch
I
regular
signed a
TV.
2-year contract, had everything included, because I was like, I wanted to know the same number every month, and I got everything. 4 months in, they started deleting channels, and I was like, what's up with
Yeah.
this? Like, I agreed with this for 2 years, like, what's going on? Like, well, this small print, like, we can change the channel lineup. And I was like, and then you want to charge me $15 for these channels again? I was like, how do you not honor? the
Yeah, they're
contract?
very, yeah.
They're like, I don't
Because of
care.
where I used to live, they were having a lot of issues about the cable part of it, not the internet. It was like a bunch of issues about the cable. That's why I said, anyway, I only watch like Hulu, Netflix, like things like that on demand. And if there's anything happening, social media or internet will get me through it, you know, so it's really, hurricane
Yeah.
is happening, you know what I mean? We will know. Because that's why they try to sell like all those regular channels that you're supposed to have for news. But at the end of the day, we can search our own news online and
You
everything.
just throw it on.
So, and what is happening nowadays on regular TV is so boring. And a lot of things, you can find it already in these other applications that we use.
Yeah. I don't get internet either because I pay for Hulu and Netflix. So I tell my kids, I'm like, no. I'm like, let go of one and they don't want to let go of the other ones. I'm like, I'm not paying for cable, internet, Hulu, Netflix. Like, what do you guys think we are? Celebrities? No. Okay, so then it says, ask for business, offer advice, and be available as a resource. So the first time I went door knocking, I wanted to do it because I wanted to get out there. I felt like I was going to be good at it. So I went, it was me and Gretel actually, and we went door knocking. And it was like a learning experience because when I was talking, I actually spoke to 2 people that did want to sell in the future, not immediately, but they did want to sell. And I didn't get their number. Like, you know, they're telling me that they were like, oh yeah. And I didn't get, and I came here and I told Jason about it. I was like, oh, listen, I got this. And then I was like, I'm gonna look him up because I had his address. So I was like, I'm gonna look him up to see and send him a thank you note. So I did that. He's like, why didn't you get the phone number? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, go for the appointment. Like, that's what you're supposed to. And I'm like, I don't know why I didn't do that. And then so after, you know, like now that was a learning experience. So with that guy that I have actually, so this was in, I think it was like last year, like the end of last year. I sent him a thank you note. He never responded, obviously, or whatever. I didn't hear. I went on a listing appointment like at the beginning of June. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna pass by his house again. So I went online. I don't know if you guys get this, but I get it all the time. Like in Instagram, Authorify. Have you guys heard of Authorify? Authorify? No? Okay. So it's they're a marketing place, but they were having like a promotion and they send you so it's a book and they put your face on it and then it says how to sell your house for top dollar. And they were having a promotion. They gave you 10 books and you only pay shipping, which was like $7. So I got it. So they sent me the 10 books and I went to his house with one of the books. I think I have it there. I'll show it to you guys. But it's just a picture of me and it says how to sell your top dollar. And then I pretty much, I partnered with this company and like, you know, this is just like some tips. So I passed by his house again and he was outside. So I go to him, I was like, hey, Ron, whatever. I'm like, hey, look, listen, I was in the area. I wanted to pass by. Remember the house that I came, you know, to tell you about like the other time? I was like, we actually sold it and we sold it for like this amount. He's like, get out of here. And he has a 2-story house. The house that we had sold was a 1-story house. So it was, his house is bigger. And then he's like, really? He's like, wow. He's like, I wonder how much my house. And I'm like, no, that's why I want to sit down. He's like, yeah, you know, I'm just doing like some cosmetic things to the house. So, you know, I want to get that. And then I'm like, well, why don't we sit together and I can give you like tips, like what to do and what not to do. So that way you're not like breaking the bank and you're knowing what's really going to like add value to your house versus doing things on your own that, you know, you're not going to get like out of it. And then he goes to me, yeah, sure. And then he actually told me to meet that weekend. And I had to cancel on him because it was my son's weekend. I wasn't going to be in town. So then I called him and then we have just been prolonging it. And we actually talked like 2 days ago. And so we have a meeting for this Saturday morning. But it's like that learning experience. I didn't get the phone number, but I knew he did want to sell. So I still passed by his house. I gave, and I went with something. So I'm not just bothering him. Like I came from contribution. I was like, listen, this is somebody I partnered up with. It has like tips on how to sell your house for top dollar. It has a little bit about staging, you know, if that's the thing. But I'm like, but I still want to come and like give you like, and he took the book. He was like, "Bro, thank you so much." He stayed talking to me. He told me about his kids, his daughters, everything, how they moved out of the house. And then now I went back and I was like, "Ron, you know what? I never got your phone number." So he's like, "Yeah, you did. Last time you came." He thought he gave me his phone number the whole time, and he didn't. And then so I got his phone number. Now we're talking, now we're texting, and it's just that, like, when you're calling these people, be purposeful. Like, you know that yes, you want to know about them, you want to get as much information as you can, but you're also going for that appointment. If you're not going for that appointment, you really didn't do nothing. So me walking that day everywhere, I really didn't do nothing because I didn't even get the guy's number.
How receptive do you find people to you when you do your door knocking?
I've never gotten a rude. I got one rude person. Like they were getting furniture delivered by Rooms to Go. So
Really bad time.
well, they were just sitting down. The guys were like putting everything inside or whatever. And one of the guys was like, "Oh, I'll get them for you." So he went and got the lady, and the lady's like, "No, no, no, no." And then she screamed at the guy for getting her. And then I was like, "I'm sorry." Like, I was, in the area or whatever. He's like, "I know, she's kind of mean," he told me. But that was like the only bad thing. But what I did notice is a lot of people with animals, when I call them, they're like, they want to get me off the phone because their dogs won't stop barking because they just heard the phone ring and now the dogs are all like fired up. So I always felt like they wanted to get me off the phone. If I heard like a pet in the background, I couldn't even hear them. I couldn't understand them. They couldn't understand me. When I go door knocking, especially that area where I found that listing, I felt like everybody had a dog. And every time I knocked, the dog would go crazy. And I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. So when the dogs would bark, they would peek their head, but then the dogs wouldn't. So they would come outside and talk to me. So that I liked that, because if they had children or something, like, they don't let them talk on the phone. But when I went in person, they can actually step outside, have a conversation with me. And I mean, I have never gotten nobody like rude like that.
But to like enhance your chances, like you probably just do like weekends, like when the people are home.
I've done during the week. I'll try to do it like maybe 4 to 6. One time I did it till like 7, but then because it's still daylight, so I felt like it wasn't too bad. But I was like, okay, maybe I should stop. It's like 7 o'clock at night. People are probably having dinner, I did do it one Saturday. We did it actually one Saturday. I think it was from like 10 to 5. That was very exhausting. Like, I got home and my feet hurt. I was like, it got to a point where I would never do it again, only because it got to a point where you become so like tired. We knocked on the same houses like twice on a whole block. We were like, and she was telling me, she's like, "We didn't do this." And I'm like, "No, I think we did." And then sure enough, when we knocked on the guy, he's like, "Yeah, I already have your flyer. You came by." And I'm like, "Really?" And then another house, we were going, because we would go 2 houses and then cross the street, 2 houses and then cross the street. And we actually did that twice, like right back to back. Like, we didn't notice we had just gone the other way. And the guy took off his glasses and he's like, "No, it's me." He's like, "You just knocked on my house." And I'm like, "Yeah, we're too tired. We need to, like, you need to stop." Because then you're not really being productive. You're just handing out flyers.
Yeah, I know that Mercedes is the lady that started, she was here, she's setting up and all that stuff, and I spoke to her. Because I think that sometimes it's good to like join with somebody else to do some ideas like that. That way, because I told her I want to go to showings. I want to, perhaps do door knocking or doing different things. But when sometimes you do things alone, it gets a little boring. And sometimes when you take a partner or switch between like your team, like for example, what's Robert, right? Robert, I said, "Robert, what day do you have this week? Do you want to come with me and we do this or we do that?" I think that it makes it fun, because you also have to enjoy what you're doing.
I think, for me, I feel like sometimes it can be a distraction. To pair up with the right person, because maybe that other person may not be as intense as you want to get for that day, and they may just want to make the small chat, like, "Yeah, it's cool to do like coffee talk, but like we need to stick with the schedule."
That's why you have to be selective with who you do it. That's what I'm saying.
So that happened to me. I've gone door knocking with 3 different people. I loved going door knocking with Gretel because she was like fierce. Like, we had a goal. We talked the whole time, so it was entertaining. And like me picking her was like a right choice. We're both starting. She's good with talking to people in Spanish too, so it kind of helped me. But then her problem was that she's only available on the weekends because she works here Monday to Friday, so I really couldn't go with her Monday to Friday. We can only go on the weekends. And she didn't necessarily want to spend every weekend door knocking, you know, she has life. So we just couldn't keep it going. And then I had another partner, but he didn't speak English that well. So whenever he started talking, like the people weren't really understanding him. And then if I jumped in, it kind of looked rude, you know. So and he was trying to practice Spanish and his English and everything. So I found that to be a problem. And then another person was just not available. Like, so I just took it upon myself to go by myself. I was just like, you know what, like if I'm waiting for like the right person to come and like everything, like I'm just not gonna do it. And I need to do it to order lead generate. So I just started going by myself. And they were like, they can like kill you, but I'm like, they're not gonna kill me in the doorstep. Like, you know, like I've gotten invited in, but I've gone in twice into a house, but I have been with somebody when I went in. I wouldn't go inside somebody's house alone.
I think because, you know, you're a big dude.
No, I know, you guys
Okay,
a little
so
different.
you're good to
Yeah.
go. I think that, I look at it as safety,
Yes.
number one.
And that's one thing Christina did tell me. She's like, are you thinking about your safety?
Because we have to look into all these kind of things, you know, what type of safety do you take with you a pepper spray? I don't know, things like that. All those things needs to be
Yes.
considered when we do recommendation of door knocking, because this is Miami or wherever we're going.
Yeah, I don't recommend
you know?
anybody to go by themselves.
So they really have to, if you're a lady, even if you're a guy, just like send your location, like let people know that you're doing that, okay? Those things needs to be also said to people that are in the business. That way they also keep themselves safe. And we're leaders, or we need to be leaders. So you make your decision of doing door knocking. You have your time to invite people instead. You can come. I do it normally this time. So it's not like you're going to stop doing what you're doing,
Right.
but you can invite people to do it with you that you think that will be, you hear them doing the script, you know, that they speak the language. People like that, that's the people that you will invite, but you have to keep yourself safe.
Yeah. No, I honestly, I don't recommend for people to go. And it also, it does get a little boring sometimes when you do it by yourself. So it's easier to like fall off the track. I do it by myself because I just haven't found anybody. And because sometimes I'm like a little greedy. I just want to, because obviously, like if you're doing it with somebody, you're sharing the leads. Like when I would do it with anybody, like they would make their flyers, I would make their flyer, and we would take turns like doing the houses. So I'm like, okay, I'll just do it by myself, but I don't go into nobody's house. Like if I get invited in, I'll be like, well, actually I have to knock like on the rest of this block and I only have like an hour left. I'm like, but I would love to come back and like schedule an appointment with you. And I do, what I did start doing is every time before, like if I'm door knocking Kendall, I'll make like an Instagram post. I'm like, oh, I'm here in Kendall, door knocking Spanish. So if you're looking for a house, like I'm gonna come and find you a house or whatever. So everybody knows where I'm at, like if I go missing. And I do have, so I have AirPods. So usually what I'll do is I'm talking to somebody that knows where I'm at. So I do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
but
do
don't you
that,
want
and I have
put
to-
out there,
Yeah.
I don't know, that's the
No,
problem.
you guys are absolutely right. Like,
But
everyone's
you see
different.
what I'm saying, because I don't know, for me, it's just like, I that's why I also interested in business to business, because I feel like, say, I have done it that way, instead of like neighborhood, I have never done that.
Mhm.
Like, I have done the neighborhood when, in my old business, if I had a client and my people, like my employees, were doing one house, because, for my type of business, then I would talk with the neighbors.
Mhm.
You see, but not like so much like just random. door
Like
knocking.
random.
I have never done it because of safety. I think that, but I have done the neighborhood as support because I'm there. So that have been my excuse for being knocking on their door or giving them a flyer or talking to them. It was because I'm doing that specific house. So I'm just a little concerned about.
No, yeah, and you should be
myself.
safe at all times. So if you like, even if you go like back there's a lot of like the new agents that they would like love to do that. You guys make a flyer with the area, what the houses are selling for there.
Yeah.
You make that and you guys take turns and you do that. I've gotten
Definitely, I
told
would-
by
I would love
everybody.
doing that. I think that's,
Yeah, I've gotten told by everybody like not to
But
go
not
door
by
knocking by yourself and not to do open houses by yourself too.
Okay,
like,
you mean like when we're listing?
When you're the listing agent, like if you're hosting an open house, and that's also, especially if it's like a house where there's people live there, like you want to make sure there's other people, because if you're getting multiple traffic in there, you want to make sure like nothing's getting like So like if they're going with an agent, like I'm like, okay, go upstairs, you know, like I let them like be with their agent. But if they're coming without an agent, I need to be with that person because I don't know that person. I tap into my group. They usually, so we, every open house, we usually do it together. Either me and Michelle, me and Jason, me, Michelle and Jason, whatever. But when I had this one listing and I had to do like an open house, they were out of town. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do the open house by myself. And I did. I door knocked the whole area by myself. I did the open house by myself. It was a lot. It was a lot because these people, it was a townhouse, so they had 2 floors. So I had to let one family and stay with that one family. The people did have cameras, so I was like, just, you know, keep an eye on me. I'm by myself, you know, but they tell me, they're like, you shouldn't do an open house by yourself.
And that's going back to what I'm saying, like creating your own team, like creating your own, like who you want to work with. Because like you said, everybody has different availability. And I want to create that relationship with other agents where like, hey, I'm available to, you know, I'm for your listing, you're for my listing.
Are you in coaching with Christina?
With Christina, yeah.
Okay, so she has a lot of agents. Talk to Christina and
That's
just be
what I'm
like, oh,
saying.
can I pair up? Like, who do you
I
have
would
interested?
all need to be open to that, to, you know, like, since also we're new, to pinch in and
Yeah.
different things.
And right now that
because
they're
that's how we
new,
can
they
generate
have their
leads.
momentum high, so they want to be active.
Also, you hear, like, for example, I would like to go to hear how more experienced people do business.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever they say, whatever works for them. I mean, not necessarily it's going to work for me, but what if it does?
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Like, I see the synergy, I see how it
So
works.
a lot, what I did a lot, like when at the beginning, when I wanted to do expired, this is like when I first got my license. When I wanted to do expired, I heard a lot of YouTube videos, like just from different, not just Keller Williams, just different, to see like what they're saying. Maybe I heard like 3 different agents and they all had 3 different styles, but I made them into one style that fit like my own. So I customized. So I heard, so I live in Homestead. So from here to Homestead is like 25 minutes. I would just play YouTube videos and like things that I could say, scripts that, you know, that I'm like, oh, wow, that's clever. Huh?
It's the best use of your time.
Yeah. You know, and I was like, you know, yeah, I could hear music. I'm like, but is that going to help me? You know, so it didn't. So that really, hearing those YouTube videos and like just listening other people's style, it helped me a lot. Okay, let's get this because we have 4 minutes. Okay, so really quick, I'm just gonna do 31, which is agent referrals, which is what we were talking about. It says, believe it or not, some agents have leads they are not following up in one or more reasons under. Reasons agents may pass on leads, too many leads and a lack of time or resources. So even though these people are $1 million producers or whatever, sometimes they get more than they can handle. And what they don't do is they don't leverage their business. Meaning there was one agent here that he was top producer or whatever. However, he never hired like a transaction coordinator, which everybody was like, well, why wouldn't you? He's like, oh, because I could do it myself. Yes, you can. However, that could be time spent finding more business, you know? So leveraging that business, when you get to be high up there, maybe you want to hire a showing assistant. You're not missing on the business. Yes, you're going to have to share your commission, but you're not missing out on that business. So leveraging that business. So these agents might be like, oh yeah, I posted it. I got like 50 leads out of that, but I'm not following up with them. So those leads went to waste.
You have to have a purpose.
You have to have a
for
purpose.
every effort that you put in.
Or maybe they had 50 leads, they followed up with 20, but they still have 30 and they're like, I can't get to them. I have my other customers that I'm dealing with, plus this new leads that I got. Now I have 30 more, you know?
And I believe in volume.
Well, they did the lead. I mean, they did the ad to get the lead. However, they got too many leads. So once you hit 20, and let's say there's 20 potential people that do want to do business, you've opened up searches for them. That's a lot. 20 buyers that you're working with, it's a lot and it's very time consuming. So the other 30, you're going to be like, I just can't. So maybe having this relationship, maybe that person, they like you. And now they're like, hey, you know what? I'll give you 5.
People can work for you. Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, in my opinion, and that's just the way I feel. For me, that's when you're greedy. You
Yeah.
just like business goes down just because you want to do it all and you don't want to share your commission and you don't want to work. Then that's not being a team player, number one. And in the long run, that's going to hurt them. You know?
Yeah. No, it is. I agree.
Feel like when you work in volume, and I say because I have seen agents, and not necessarily here, I'm just saying that they have done it in volume. All of a sudden, they grow
That's like the 3 L's of the real estate, but,
I
right?
know it's specific, like, some people specifically come to my mind,
Mhm.
and they're closing every month, and you're like, oh my God. And it's a mom and daughter, like, they work together.
Mhm.
Like, I have a few people that I know, and that they do everything, you know, they're doing everything together, they're always keeping busy, because it's like multiple people working together, and boom, 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 boom. At the end of the day, you make more money.
Yeah. When you actually start growing is when you're leveraging, when you want to become, maybe you don't want to drive everywhere to show houses to everybody. So you're becoming a listing agent. Okay, hire a showing assistant. Yeah, you're going to have, that's how I started with them. I became a showing. They would give me leads and now I would do a showing. Yes, they had to share the commission with me, but they didn't have to go drive around everywhere. So it was money for me and it was a help for them because now they could focus on other business because they had a lot of business. They didn't want to let go of the other business. They just couldn't get to everything. So leveraging that out when you get to that point is very important. So
And
you
also
don't,
noticing how you can make money different ways, like being a showing assistant, being an admin, this, that, like, until you are balling in your own.
yeah,
You have to assist with others, and that's okay, because you're learning, you know?
Yeah.
The way I probably figured it.
when I did, before I joined them, I had done like 3 rentals and then I joined them and then I did, or like at the time that I joined them, they had like a buyer. So I helped them. I learned so much from that transaction. And I had to go show them the property, which luckily it was only one property. We went under contract and we got accepted and everything. But I had to go to the inspection and I had to go to the walkthrough. And it just taught me a lot because they would like copy me in the emails of the negotiations that they would do when the appraisal came. They were like, okay, look, this is the appraisal that came. This is what we can do. Like it showed me hands on how to deal with that situation. So it was really good. Okay, so we're gonna have to wrap it up because it's 12:31. Okay. So any ahas? And we'll wrap it up.
Door knocking is I should be more open to door knocking, right? Because I just like when people knock on my door, I don't answer. So
Oh, you don't?
I don't like now
So
that
I didn't before, and then I did, so I can hear what they're saying, because even though they're not selling real estate, they're selling something. So you want to see their tactics. I want to see their what it's getting, like that guy that I let inside my house, being alone with my kids. Like, what are they saying that got me to open the door? Because I can use that same script to get somebody else to open the door on me.
And
And
I will not open the door. And that's just me.
I've had people, like, they'll look at me through the little camera, they'll be like, oh, just leave it at the door, and they won't open the door. But I've had little old, and I would have little old people, and they would come outside and they would talk to me. But I mean, I was by myself, I didn't look that intimidating. So, you know, they were like more prone to like open the door. When I went with this guy, he's tall, he doesn't look intimidating, but you know, he's a guy. So he was like, oh, I think they'll be more open to like, so one of the people that let us in, they let both of us in because she was a little old lady.
I think, what about, I say because people confuse those door knocking with religious. What about having like a Keller Williams?
I do.
shirt
I have
or
a Keller
something like
Williams
that?
shirt that I go
It's
with.
just idea, but it's just
Yeah.
common to my
So
head.
usually the way I do it is I have a Keller Williams shirt that's Keller
Okay.
Williams or whatever. I do wear comfortable shoes because you do a lot of walking, and then I wear the shield, like not the mask, but the shield, just because I'm respectful of, you know, whoever, I don't know, you know, and even with the people, like with
So
the
you can
shield.
have your face, like they can actually.
That's the main purpose, because I want them to see who I am, so they're not frightened by me. If I have a mask, they're like, I don't know who you are. I'm not opening the door. So I have the face shield, and I always like step back. So I knock on the door and I just step back and I tell them, hey, look. So that way when they open the door, I'm not like right there, you know? I take a step back. So guys, thank you, Malak. Oh, you're back, Malak. We're just wrapping it up. Do you have
Yes,
any?
I am. Sorry, I've been having.
We lost you for a
Hello?
minute. Well, we're wrapping it up, but
Yeah,
do you
I've
want?
been having some connection problems this morning.
Oh, no worries. Do you have any ahas you want to share with us?
I
I
think
know-
my biggest haha, it's it's a little bit of everything. It's really like again, I'm new, but I'm like, I love learning about like how everybody lead generate and how you lead generate and how you learned, you know, by joining your group and, you know, by getting involved with more experienced, you know, agent. And I feel like I've had that experience with my own. I started with Diana, and Diana was such a great help in the terms where I learned how to make contracts with her, you know, like by helping her with her listing, by, you know, showing properties. And it's just, yeah, I think that's my biggest haha is always try to get to, you know, to not hang out, but, you know, to be involved with more experienced agents, because that's how you're going to learn ultimately.
Yes. Are you talking about Diana Torres?
Yes, Diana Torres. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, no, and you know, affiliating yourselves with them, and when they have open houses and everything, they'll think about you to help them out, and that's a learning.
Yeah,
experience.
and I did an open house with her 2 weeks ago. So, and that was my first open house, and you know, it doesn't seem a lot, but when it's your first time as an open house, you don't know what to expect, you know, and it's a great experience to have.
Yeah, I agree. Awesome. All right, Malak, you're free to go.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.